Welcome to an absolutely beautiful night in a beautiful ballpark, Citi Field. It's the Subway Series. That continues, and we are in prime time on Fox, as it is the Saturday game of the week, the Yankees and the Mets. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Joe Buck. That is Tim McCarver. These are two New York teams that are in very different spots so far this season. For the Yankees, Tim, it's easy to forget how well they've started, how well they're playing. Good record. They're 4 games out behind the Rays that are just running away with things in the East at the moment. The Mets, a lot is writing for this last-place team on this series.
Well, that's a huge story in New York City, and that's the job status of Jerry Manuel. But he's kept his sense of humor, and think about how difficult that is when his free agent left fielder has 1 home run, David Wright with all those strikeouts, and more importantly, the woes of the Mets because 3 of their 5 starters, 2 on the DL and 1 in the bullpen.
But the good news for the Mets, they have Mike Pelfrey on the mound tonight. He is one of their top 2, taking on Phil Hughes of the New York Yankees. We are glad you're with us. Anything can happen in a Subway Series like last year. Castillo drops a fly ball, Yankees win. A-Rod passes Reggie Jackson on the all-time home run list. And also against the Mets, Mariano Rivera records his 500th save. Get ready. Here we go. Baseball next on Fox.
Guys, you there?
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Ken.
Hey, Joe.
Tonight's your night, man.
Hey, Joe, did you get my text on Kevin Long?
I did.
Okay, good.
Don't forget, man, tonight's your night. I mean, Richard's here. Through the clouds, and it's just a beautiful night here in Flushing, and they are honoring some of the Mets from the year 2000. Edgardo Alfonzo throwing out the first pitch in this game tonight, brought to you by Budweiser, official beer of the thirst inning. The beer that starts with full flavor and ends with a crisp, clean finish. Budweiser, it's what we do. So Edgardo Alfonzo throws out the first pitch, shakes the hand of Rod Barajas. He walks away, and here is the lineup for the Yankees, brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. How do they stack up? This is their lineup for the National League City. No DH, so they started off with Derek Jeter at short, then Brett Gardner bats second, off to a terrific start. Teixeira is heating up in the month of May. Then Alex Rodriguez with his 6 home runs. Cano hitting .335. Nick Swisher is back in there. Francisco Cervelli, the catcher. Randy Wynn, the switch hitting left fielder. And Phil Hughes, with his record of 5-0, is on the mound and batting 9th. And here's the right-hander, Mike Pelfrey, who has got, at times, overpowering stuff. And Tim, clearly the number 2 starter for the Mets. He's had a very good start to this season.
The only start that was not good for Mike this year against the Philadelphia Phillies, when the Phillies scored 6 in the 4th inning. That was back on May 2nd.
There's a scouting report, which you worked on last night. And a little look at the stuff that he will bring with him to the mound here this evening.
And also Jerry Manuel telling us that against left-handed batters, throwing the curveball for strikes. That's at second point, and he doesn't throw a true splitter. Takes off about 8 to 10 miles an hour, and that's been good enough to hold left-handers to a 133 average.
I want to know what the Mets defense looks like, and thanks to Scott, we can all see it. Jason Bay in left, Angel Pagan in center, and Jeff Francoeur in right. David Wright, Jose Reyes, Luis Castillo had the night off last night. Ike Davis, the rookie at first. Barajas has been a revelation at catcher, and Pelfrey is on the mound for the Mets, and there's the reaction for Derek Jeter, who digs his way in to start it for the Yankees.
Nice to hear boo mixed with yay.
Yeah, it's just a pleasant sound at the start of our night. And the Mets are tired of seeing Derek Jeter, who is a .383 career hitter against Mets pitching. And he slashes one foul off to the right to begin the night. So for Jeter, that .383 average against the Mets is the best ever against the Mets. And so far this season, a .273 average, but that's way down after he hit .330 in the month of April. May has not been good to Jeter, and he grounds one past Mick Kelleher. Foul down the right field line, strike 2. After Jeter, it's Gardner, and then Teixeira, and that's ball 1 down and away.
I know if you're a viewer, you may be thinking, what can I see Derek Jeter do tonight that he's never done before? Well, he's 3 hits shy of 2,800 hits. That is a ton of hits.
And he is number 1 on the all-time Yankee list in that category. 1-2 pitch, he does that a lot. Goes to the right side. This one's right at Ike Davis, 1 out. How about the Ford keys to the game tonight for these two sides?
Well, the one thing that the Yankees did not have to do last year, they didn't have a lot of injuries, so they didn't need to be resourceful. They are resourceful this year. The latest, Kevin Russo with a double to drive in both runs last night, only a second major league hit. And with the Mets, I mean, where do you start to talk about the woes through the first 7 weeks of the season?
Yeah, there are a lot of different ways you can go with that, and we will during the course of the night as Brett Gardner stands in. And Gardner shows bunt, takes a strike. Gardner is a center fielder with Curtis Granderson on the disabled list. The good news for the Yankees, Granderson is starting a minor league rehab assignment, and they hope to have him back in their big league lineup next weekend against Cleveland. Here's the 0-1. And strike 2. Todd Tishner is the home plate umpire. He's joined by Marvin Hudson at first, Darrell Cousins at second, and Jim Wolfe over at third. 0-2 the count. Pelfrey 5-1 on the year, and ERA just over 3, and this one back to him on a hop. 2 out. So 2 up, 2 down with a couple of ground outs, and here is Mark Teixeira. If you look at the Yankees so far this season, they are 26-16. They're 4 out behind Tampa Bay. Rays lost last night to Houston 2-1. The Yankees gained a game in the division. Shift on the infield as they play Teixeira to pull. 93-mile-an-hour fastball misses ball 1. It has been the starting pitching, and to be more direct about it, the top 4 in the rotation for the Yankees. It's a big reason why they're off to this very good start of 10 games over the 500 mark, and Phil Hughes is a big part of that. So is that man, Sabathia, who gets the ball tomorrow night. Javier Vasquez we just showed you, was terrific last night. 6 innings, 1 hit, and flashed the form that he showed most of the time last year while pitching for the Atlanta Braves. There's a strike.
And the Yankees glad that Vasquez did not flash a broken finger. His finger is just bruised, hit on a bunt attempt, and he's all right.
A 2-out walk brings Rodriguez to the plate. And when you talk about the starting pitching for the Yankees, you look at the top 4. Andy Pettitte, 5-1, 9th best ERA in the league. Phil Hughes, 3rd best ERA, 5-0. A.J. Burnett stumbled his last time out, but 4-2. Same for Sabathia, ERA under 3.5. And Sabathia last year got better and better as the year went on, and then was terrific during the postseason when the Yankees won it all. Here's Rodriguez, and there's strike 1.
Don't throw that pitch again. That is a pitch, Alex Rodriguez. That ball out over the plate, tremendous power to right center field. American League pitchers try to crowd Rodriguez, but this a fat fastball that he just missed.
Hitting .295, tied for 5th in the league with 32 RBIs, and he takes a strike on the inside corner. That one rode in a little bit. It's 0-2.
Jerry Manuel probably thinking this is much better. Right on the inside corner.
Barajas sets up inside again, and this one out over the plate. Rodriguez a base hit to right. Teixeira will stop at second. A walk, a hit, and the Yankees have something going here in the first.
Well, if you're going to miss to Rodriguez, you try to miss inside, not over the plate. Rodriguez extends those long arms and gets the first hit of the ball game.
And it gives the RBI chance to Robinson Cano, who has been terrific, hitting .335. 5th best average in the American League. He's hit 9 home runs. That leads this ball club, and he's driven in 28. So the Mets lost last night. They're 3 games under 500. They are 7 games behind Philadelphia. And here's a fly ball into left center field. Back to get it, Jason Bay. And after the walk, after the hit, Cano flies to left. 2 left after a half. It's Citi Field, no score. Brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Jose Reyes leads it off at short. Luis Castillo. Then Jason Bay. Ike Davis, the rookie. David Wright backs up Ike Davis and Angel Pagan. Rod Barajas has been great. He's hit 10 home runs. Jeff Francoeur bats 8th, and Mike Pelfrey is the pitcher batting 9th. And here's Phil Hughes. There are his numbers. Stumbled his last time out against the Red Sox, but a 5-0 start.
He developed a changeup in spring training, said Dave Island, the pitching coach of the Yankees, and that has made him a completely different pitcher.
Jose Reyes is first up. Then Luis Castillo, Jason Bay. This is a Mets club that is 14-9 at home and won just 6 games on the road. And they've lost 8 of their last 10. You look at the defensive positioning for the Yankees as they play Reyes to hit it the other way, and a big swing and a foul for strike 1.
Both young pitchers doing a good job of staying ahead. Pelfrey ahead of all 5 batters, and now Hughes likewise.
Here's an 0-1. Another foul, that's strike 2. Reyes is off to, by far, his worst start in the big leagues. He's just 26. He'll turn 27 this season. But hitting .211. Spent some time batting in the number 3 spot in the Mets lineup. He's back to where he wants to be, which is in that top spot.
Yeah, that experiment batting third was wrong.
Another foul. And the numbers were terrible for Reyes. He hit .207 in the 3rd spot for 20 games, 6 RBIs. But Jerry Manuel's defense of that was by far the Mets' best stretch of the season when they won at one point 8 in a row and 9 of 10 on a homestand. Here's a breaking ball low, and the count 1-2. But they're the numbers over the last 10 games. So hitting 3rd, hitting 1st, hitting 10th, hitting 13th, whatever, he's not hitting.
Tough to hit from that 13 hole.
Here's a pitch up and away, 2-2. Is Ken Rosenthal with us tonight?
I think so.
You down there, Kenny?
I am, Joe.
I know you talked to Reyes about his start, and thyroid condition or not, he's not making any excuses.
Right. I did ask him about missing almost all of last season and almost all of spring training. And basically he said, hey, I've played 39 games now. I need to figure it out.
Well, he's 0 for 1 today as he pops up to 3rd, and Alex Rodriguez right at the bag hauls it in for the first out, and Luis Castillo will be the batter. We will talk to Jerry Manuel during the course of this game. We'll obviously talk to Joe Girardi as well during the course of this game. And these two managers are in different positions here in 2010. Girardi coming off a world championship, trying to navigate through injuries. And right now the watch is on for Jerry Manuel, as it seems like if the Mets don't pick it up, and maybe right here, right now, he'll be without a job. What a good play by Cano. Had to charge it, got it out of his glove, and basically whipped it sidearm to Sheriff for the out. The Yankees defense is presented by Scott. It's Wynn, Gardner, and Swisher in the outfield. Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter, Robinson, Cano, and Mark Teixeira on the infield. Cervelli does the catching with Posada on the DL, and Phil Hughes is in the middle of it all with his 5-0 record. Here is Jason Bay. And his production, his power, has been a major disappointment. Strike 1 over the inside corner. A career high 36 home runs last year with the Red Sox. He has 1. Two out, nobody on, and the ball down and away.
And Joe, there is not a manager in baseball who does not understand how precarious a situation Jerry Manuel's in right now. And Joe Girardi's one of them. And after all, Joe Girardi last May.
Here's a grounder past Rodriguez down the left field line, and Bay will try to stretch it and make it with a double.
Last May, Joe Girardi in a similar situation. There were rumblings about his job status. Jason Bay with double number 10 on the year. His average has been fine, but it's the long ball that they're looking for. Turning on this fastball from Hughes for the first med hit of the ball game.
It brings in the rookie Ike Davis. Ike Davis has a presence about him that you rarely see in any rookie in the big leagues, let alone somebody stepping onto the stage here in New York. But it has been a special start. He's hit 4 home runs, hitting .287. Good on base percentage. He lifts that front leg and he lays off ball 1 outside.
Jerry Manuel's saying that he reminds him of Harold Baines, the great slugger for the White Sox for so many years. Harold is the first base coach for Chicago, and Ozzie Guillen.
That misses outside, and the count 2-0.
Tell you, when you're young and you're compared to Harold Baines, that's pretty good company right there after only a handful of at-bats in the major leagues.
He likes his new home park, hitting .321 here. 3 of his 4 home runs have been at Citi Field. 2-0 pitch on the outside corner. Good delivery from Hughes. Behind on the count, it's 2-1. Mets trying to strike first after Pelfrey got around a 2-out walk and a hit by getting Cano on a fly ball to left in the top half. Here's the 2-1. It's 2-2. 93 miles per hour from Phil Hughes.
Francisco Cervelli, you may have noticed, looks like he is flashing a catcher's manicure behind home plate. Almost looks like there are extensions on his fingers. That obviously is to give Phil Hughes an idea. A little white out, never heard anything.
Here's a foul out of play off to the left. I don't think I've seen a catcher go to that length.
No, I agree.
I mean, normally it's white out on the nails.
Yeah.
But this is like either white out or some sort of silver paint that goes up his finger.
It's an odd look.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Like Gene Simmons giving signs back there. With 2 out, pitch is low, and it's a full count. Bay with a double. There's Dave Island, the pitching coach for the Yankees. Change from a year ago for Phil Hughes. More change-ups, more cutters. The Yankees think that he fell in love with his cutter his last time out. He couldn't maintain an early 5-0 lead against the Red Sox. His only hiccup this season. Here's a 3-2. And it's outside. A 2-out walk. And here is the scouting report on the 23-year-old right-hander.
We talked about Dave Island, the pitching coach of the Yankees, telling us that his changeup has made a difference. Think about what Phil Hughes has done in a very short period of time. At 23 years old, he's gone from a starter in the big leagues to the bullpen as a setup man, back to a starter, and this is where he belongs.
As opposed to Jabba Chamberlain.
Yeah.
They tried the experiment of moving him into the rotation, and that not only did it not work for him as a starter, it seems to have taken something away from him that he's trying to regain. He was good last night, that dominant stuff. Here's another chance for David Wright, and he takes a pitch down and away, ball 1. 57 strikeouts. He's tired of reading and hearing about his strikeouts, but they are piling up at a record pace. Most ever by a Mets player through 43 games. By plenty. He's just a better hitter than that, and that's why it's so alarming. 1-0 pitch is fouled back. Ball and a strike. Last year is first year in this park. Last year was the first season for Citi Field. David Wright, typically a big power hitter, hit just 10 home runs all year. He has 8, so that number is up, but so are the strikeouts, as you see, through 43 games, 10 more than Mike Cameron had at this point. Previous record holder as Wright fouls another back. Looked like he was trying to go the opposite way, which is what he does when he's hitting well, going to center and right. And he's now in the hole 1-2.
Also, Joe, when he's hitting well, he doesn't foul balls back like that. When he gets pitches to hit,
he's not behind them like he is. Both foul balls way behind, fouled off to the right side. But the key thing, you're right. With 2 strikes, he used to go to right field. We'll see.
A 1-2 is outside. And I'm sure for David Wright, or any hitter that struggles with strikeouts, it appears to them like every time they look up at the scoreboard, there are 2 strikes up there, and here he is. With a 2-2 count, 2 on, 2 out, trying to put the Mets on top here on a Saturday night. Right back up the middle. Wright has a base hit. Jason Bay will score. The Mets strike first tonight, 1-0 for the National League side as David Wright gets it done.
That was a similar fastball on which he struck out against Jabba Chamberlain last night. And that was a cutter from Phil Hughes. So the cut fastball, the problem, as Joe mentioned, against the Red Sox when David Ortiz and J.D. Drew hit home runs against Hughes. Now the cutter early, and I think that was the first cutter he's thrown in this game.
Well, if you want to see your name on air, play MLB on Fox. Tune in to win. Now on foxsports.com/tunein. Make your predictions during today's game between the Mariners and Rays. Hurry up. Your predictions must be submitted by the end of the second. Stick around to increase your chances of winning with the 7th inning bonus question. Winners will be announced on air during the 9th inning. Log on to foxsports.com/tunein to play right now. Here is Angel Pagan trying to get more for the Mets, who lead 1-0, 2 on, 2 out. And a line drive foul, strike 1. Wonder if that was part of the conversation from Dave Island to Phil Hughes.
I was thinking the same thing.
I mean, if Joe Girardi mentioned it to us,
yep,
you'd think that was something that was covered prior to Phil Hughes taking the mound here tonight. But as Girardi said, when you have a new toy, sometimes you want to bring it out too much, and that's what they thought of Phil Hughes in his last start against the Red Sox. Too many cutters, and it burned him here. Now a broken bat. Base hit to left. Here comes Davis. 2-0 Mets to third. David Wright. Inning over. But 2 out RBI hits by David Wright and Angel Pagan have put the Mets on top. After 1. The throw by Wynn. Too late. The throw to third to get David Wright. 2-0 Mets after 1 in Queens.
Angel Pagan drives in a run, but actually should have driven in 2 runs. Watch David Wright. He stops at second base and then continues to third. Had he continued around second and gone into third, he would not have made the third out at third base. That is a base running taboo no-no, and David knows it.
So back to work is Mike Pelfrey. Got around a walk and a hit in the first inning. And here's Nick Swisher with Cervelli and Randy Wynn to follow as we move to the second inning. 2-0 Mets. And a ground ball to second. Picked up by Castillo. 1 out. Let's take you to the studio with Chris Rose and Kevin Millar for a DirecTV game break. Thank you, guys, and it's good to hear the voice of Kevin Millar in our studio. He was always a guy that, Tim, we enjoyed being around when he was playing with the Boston Red Sox, and a big part of changing the attitude around that club and really giving them some life.
Chris Rose better cowboy up tonight.
Here's an 0-1 pitch. Cervelli takes the ball down and away. One out, nobody on. Cervelli takes inside. 2-1.
For those of you who may not remember that, the cowboy up was started by Kevin Millar and the Red Sox back in 2004, when the Red Sox remarkably came from a 3-0 deficit against the Yankees to win 4 in a row, then beat the Cardinals 4 in a row.
Ground ball to first. Off the bat at Cervelli. Easy play for Ike Davis. 2 out. Well, while the Minnesota Twins, as we heard from Chris, threaten in their half of the 9th inning as they now trail by 1. You look at the standings, and in the National League Central, Milwaukee, they're 10 games under 500 at the start of the day, 8.5 games behind St. Louis. Now, St. Louis lost earlier today, but it is surprising to me that the Brewers are playing as poorly as they are right now this deep into the season. Here's Randy Wynn, and there's strike 1.
Me too.
And with all the hand-wringing and worry about the Mets, they're 3 games under 500. The Brewers, with all that talent, 10 under 500. Here's an 0-1 pitch, up and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. Any heat on the general manager and manager, Ken Rosenthal, with the Milwaukee Brewers?
But the Brewers owner today, Mark Attanasio, came out very strongly in support of Doug Melvin, the general manager. And he also said that the manager, Ken Maka, would not be fired on Monday. Now, there's no guarantee for Maka the rest of the year, but Attanasio, pretty strong votes of confidence for both. Of course, earlier this season, we saw a vote of confidence for the Royals manager, Trey Hillman, and he was fired 2 days later.
What a great vote of confidence. Here's a foul off to the left. I say this, and I don't want any questions. We will not fire our manager on Monday.
We're going to get a call after the game. Joe, Tim, you will not be fired on Monday.
Thanks.
How rewarding.
I want to state this clearly for the record. Here's the 1-2 pitch. High, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Randy Wynn at the plate. On deck is Phil Hughes, who has never hit in the big leagues. Didn't hit in the minor leagues. Found a helmet, put his number on it. He's got a bat. He may get a chance if Pelfrey lets Randy Wynn get off the hook here in the second. Ground out by Swisher, ground out by Cervelli. A 3-2 count on Randy Wynn. With 2 out, here it is, and another foul. Pelfrey is 6'7", 230. 26-year-old and the 9th overall pick, 2005 out of Wichita State. Came up in 06, was 2-1 in 4 starts, and then he's bounced back and forth. Last year, 2 games under 500, 10-12. 3-2 pitch is high, a 2-out walk. And if nothing else, that allows the Yankees to clear Phil Hughes here in the second. Unless Phil's going to do something special here with his first major league at bat.
Last time Phil Hughes had an at bat was 7 years ago as a senior at Foothill High in Santa Ana, California.
And he takes a strike. He said he could hit the fastball, but the first time he saw a breaking ball, he was bailing, and we'll see if he sees one from Mike Pelfrey.
Actually, Phil hit 400 his senior year.
I guess they weren't throwing many curveballs his senior year. That one's down and away. And the count 1 ball, 1 strike. So we kind of provided Pelfrey with his own scouting report. Packed house here at Citi Field. They had the biggest crowd ever in this park here last night, over 41,000. 1-1 pitch is chopped at the plate, foul ball. And strike 2. Back to the plate is Phil Hughes. Last night for the Yankees, they got the best start they've received from Javier Vasquez, a 1-hitter through 6, making his first start in 9 days. Jabba Chamberlain set up Mariano Rivera, and Joe Girardi's team had a 2-1 win. Here tonight, it's the Mets on top. 2-0 as we play in the second, and a 1-2 pitch from Pelfrey. Pretty good rip. 94-mile-an-hour fastball. It's still 1-2. It was during interleague play a few seasons ago when Chin-Ming Wong, who was the #1 starter for the Yankees, injured his foot running the bases at Houston. Last night, a grand slam was hit by Brad Penny for St. Louis, and then he ends up on the disabled list. Wasn't around long enough to get the win. That pitch was low to Phil Hughes, and the count even at 2-2.
Think about valuable commodities, and that's what all pitchers are in baseball. It's such an important part of the game. Having them hit, bad idea and unfair. And the chances of injury much greater to American League pitchers who have to hit, in Phil Hughes' case, for the first time.
But we heard from Kevin Millar during the pregame that's his favorite part about interleague play.
Yeah, that's true.
Is watching pitchers who can't hit act like they can hit and then attempt it. Although I will say Phil Hughes, for his first big league at bat, has had a couple of good swings.
He has not had a swing and a miss yet.
7th pitch of this at bat, and he grounds to short. Reyes shows off that arm, and the inning is over. So a 2-out walk. Pelfrey gets around it, and the Yankees have stranded 3. What a beautiful night in New York. 2-0 Mets after an inning and a half. you back. We move to the bottom of the second. MLB is proud to support Stand Up to Cancer. Visit standuptocancer.org to learn how you can help us in the fight against cancer. It's the bottom of the second, and it's Rod Barajas at the plate. Big numbers for Barajas as he takes a strike. He was a late addition to this Mets team, joining this club at the end of February. And what a start he's had in the Mets uniform. Big swing and a miss. That's strike two. He's got 10 home runs. He has more home runs at this point in the season than Jason Bay and David Wright combined. Number 7 hitter with Francoeur to follow, and then the pitcher Pelfrey. Here's an 0-2. Off the end of the bat, still 0-2.
Rod signed late with the Mets, and just one of the problems that players have when they sign with a New York team. Rod and his wife Stacy have 6 children. So Rod trying to find and rent a van big enough for his family. They don't have big vans in New York City. So that was among the biggest things. Not the high fastball, but vans to fit his 6 children and wife in.
Here's a fastball for a swinging strike 3, and that's the way the bottom of the second begins. You mean to tell me you can find anything in this city, but you can't find a large van to carry 6 kids around?
It's a problem. It is a real problem. Jay Horwitz, the public relations director of the Mets, telling me that it's one of the problems. As far as Jeff Francoeur is concerned, he has 3 big dogs, and you can imagine the problems that Jeff has. He and his wife, with the 3 big dogs, introducing them to concrete.
Strike 1 on a foul back to the screen. 1 out, nobody on. And Phil Hughes brings it. Good pitch down and in. Fastball. Fouled away for strike 2. Francoeur was on the bench consecutive games on the most recent road trip. It was not a good trip for the Mets. 2-6. And a wasted pitch up high at the letters to Francoeur, ball 1. On deck is Pelfrey. On 1-2. Francoeur fouls it away. When you and Kenny Albert were in St. Louis for that 20-inning affair between the Mets and the Cardinals on the 17th of April, Francoeur was hitting .457. He went 0 for 7 that 20-inning game. And he's hit .155 since. And he pops it up here in foul territory for Teixeira, 2 out.
Mets went on right after that game to win 8 in a row. And a lot of the players were saying that was a game that brought them all together. And since that time, after that 8 in a row, they have fell on horrible times.
It was a late April tease from the Mets. But while they say Jerry Manuel's job is in jeopardy, I can't think of a manager alive or deceased who could manage this Mets team in its current state to the top of the NL East.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Say what you want about the in-game decisions by Jerry Manuel or moving Jose Reyes between the first and third spot in the order. The bottom line is the Mets don't have enough. And what they have, you're missing Beltran, who had January surgery on his knee, which was a shock to the Mets. You're talking about a 3 or 4 place hitter. You've got Jason Bay, who's got 1 home run. David Wright striking out. Pelfrey strikes out. The rotation is riddled with injuries, and Oliver Perez has pitched his way into the bullpen. It's a lot bigger than just Jerry Manuel, the problem for the Mets. Jeter's coming up for the Yankees. They trail 2-zip. Back after this from your local Fox station. beautiful night. 70 degrees at the start of the evening, a nice breeze through the park, and Derek Jeter fights it off, and what a play by Ike Davis. Reaching for it, and he had just enough for out number one.
Well, if you're going to make a move, if you're the New York Mets, you get a tall first baseman. One that's 6'5" and can make plays like this. And that's really not the only good play that Ike Davis has made thus far this season. Some of those plays near the dugout have been sensational.
So Pelfrey gets the out on that soft liner that Ike Davis is able to get up and get. And here is Brett Gardner. And you're right, those plays, Tim, in front of the dugout, going over the railing into the dugout. He hadn't been here that long, and yet he is showing that he can really handle himself over at first base. Good fastball that misses from Pelfrey. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's Gardner now. It's Teixeira on deck. 2-0 Mets on top. And a 1-1 pitch is down and in, 2-1. Gardner's first time tapped back to Pelfrey. And now a strike from Mike Pelfrey, 2-2. First pitch strikes 10 of the 11 batters faced.
Wow. That's terrific. That's how success begins.
And a foul tip caught by Barajas for out number 2 and strikeout number 1. And here are the plays. 3 times this season, Ike Davis has made a catch going over the dugout railing on a foul ball. April 21st against the Cubs, May 7th the Giants, May 11th against the Nationals.
What a package.
The last one ended the game, and now this one started the top of the 3rd.
Yeah.
Maybe the best music we've played on Fox in a baseball game in 3 years. Teixeira spins out of the way of one up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. You know, when you talk about first pitch strikes, and he just did it again, Pelfrey did to Mark Teixeira. Jerry Manuel, his manager, Pelfrey's manager, was talking about how good he is in his side sessions, how his control is just pinpoint. And while you could accuse him sometimes of trying to be too fine or nibbling, as they say in baseball, as a pitcher, when he's in a game, it's just because he believes he can put it where he wants to. Here's a fly ball into left. Good start for Pelfrey and for the Mets. We are through 2.5. The Mets on RBIs by David Wright and Angel Pagan lead the Yankees 2-0. There it is. Just enjoy it. The third, and Jose Reyes up there hacking like he did in his first at bat when he popped up to third, fouls it away, strike one. 2-0 Mets. RBIs by Wright and Pagan in the first inning, and now a fly ball into right. Swisher in and to his left. One out. Here's our chat with manager Jerry Manuel of the Mets. First question was about how good Mike Pelfrey looks through 3 innings.
Yeah, he does. He looks like he's pitching real well, mixing pitches excellent in, throwing some pitches in. He's got a nice repertoire going at this point, so we hope we can keep it going.
Jerry, we talked about it in the opening about how you maintain your sense of humor through this whole thing. You've got to do that, right?
Yeah, you have to do that. I mean, it's a beautiful game, and you got to be even fortunate to be a part of something such as this anyway. So there's no need to making it a death type of thing. So you got to laugh at some things too, because it can be pretty funny at times.
Yeah, we've seen you use that sense of humor, but you deserve credit for the class with the way you handle the questions that you get on a daily basis. And a guy who's gotten a lot of questions himself, David Wright, got a big hit for you in that first inning.
Yeah, that was huge for us. 2 out. RBI. We haven't gotten many of those this year, and for him to get it is a big plus for us.
As always, we thank you for your time. Thanks, Jerry.
I appreciate it.
All right. Jerry Manuel in his second full season here with the Mets took over June 17, 2008. His Mets lead here tonight 2-0 after losing last night 2-1. Castillo grounded out his first time up. He's in the hole here 1-2. And chops it left side for Rodriguez. Gets that bigger bounce and gets the out. 2 gone. Castillo bad foot and all, Tim, made that close.
Yeah, the one thing that made it close also, the ball stayed up. You can almost hear the players in the dugout saying, stay down. If you're a Mets player, you're pulling for Castillo, but the ball stayed up, and Rodriguez got Castillo by about a half a step.
So with 2 out, nobody on, the batter will be Jason Bay, who doubled with 2 out, nobody on, and that started the 2-run rally in the first. It was average 285. Looking for his second home run, and he chased a high, hard one, strike one. Ike Davis would follow if Bay can keep this third inning alive. The 0-1 from Hughes is upstairs. Ball and a strike. Hughes has an interesting delivery. You don't want to say he's short arming it, but he just comes right out of his chest, it looks like, with his delivery, and he's got an above average fastball. There's a breaking ball. It catches the outside corner at the knees. Good pitch, strike 2.
That was wicked.
Fastball, ground ball, foul.
Yeah, Phil, in a totally different situation this year. As we said last year, the setup man for Mariano Rivera. There's that delivery Joe was talking about. I mean, that tall, you would think, and he's 6'4", you would think that you could see the ball a lot better, but not so.
There's a ground ball base hit off the glove of Jeter into left, and Bay's 2 for 2. So Jason Bay continues to reach base. He gets a base hit here, 2 for 2 in this game, and Ike Davis will walk to the plate.
Even had Derek Jeter come up with that ball, there's no play on Bay, who runs fairly well. Threat to steal, he has 5 stolen bases. He has not been caught.
And now the rookie who walked and scored a run in the first, Ike Davis. Hughes out of the stretch, and a strike hits the outside corner for Jason Bay. In case you're wondering, he has stolen 5, has not been caught. This is a Mets team that does not rely on the home run to score runs, and their team average is down just 243, 14th best in the National League. With just 35 home runs hit by this group. Bay is part of an outfield that's hit a total of 9 home runs. Not much. So Minnesota ended up tying Milwaukee. They're 7-7 in the 10th. Here's the 0-1.
Oh, Joe, when you compare the two ballparks, I mean, Yankee Stadium, the Yankees are in their second year there. Well, that's a launching pad. Here at Citi Field, the Mets trying to hit with these distances. I think eventually they are going to have to move the fences in. I don't think you can have your home team at such a disadvantage as the Mets are when other teams come in here with much better pitching than they have. And they win the low-scoring ball game.
But the interesting part is people say, well, they also play on the road, so you have your chance. But it's a swing changer. It's got to get into your head, and it's got to change your approach at the plate. And those are habits you carry on when you take to the road.
Yeah, that is exactly right. And David Wright, a good example of that. He played 81 games on the road last year, but still had only 10 home runs total. Way down from previous years.
1 on, 2 out, and a broken bat. The ground ball is foul, still 1-2. And then, frankly, this game, it's a more exciting product that you're putting on the field when you are hitting home runs.
That's true.
And this is a Mets organization that's trying to lure people back into the seats. They have the biggest drop-off in attendance from a year ago. In fact, they were giving away free seats to former season ticket holders this weekend's game, trying to get people back in the stadium and get them excited about coming back to watch the Mets. See just the 9 home runs hit by the outfield. Extremely low total, and the pitch is outside 2-2. As far as moving walls in, Ken Rosenthal, they did that out in San Diego, didn't they?
Not really, Joe. And that park has proven to be an advantage for the Padres. You heard a lot of the same complaints about Petco Park in the early years, and now the Padres have turned it to their advantage. They're a pitching defense team, more athletic, and they're a big surprise this season.
Only guy complaining about that is Adrian Gonzalez.
Right. Well, he's hitting them anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you think about David Wright, but that was a conversation that was going on in San Diego. They've now tailored their ball club to the ballpark. Here's a 2-2. Outside, full count.
Well, we'll see whether this 7-week run for the Padres is going to produce in the long run what they produce early part of the season.
I agree with you. I think it's a lot to ask with that team, with the youth that they have, pitching staff, the lack of experience, the lack of protection in the lineup for Gonzalez. That this is something that'll last all season, but if it does, I mean, it'll be one of the great stories in recent memory. That's outside, and for the second time, Ike Davis draws a walk. Those are the 2 walks in this game. That's it for the right-hander Phil Hughes, and it's 2 on with 2 out. And here comes Dave Island again.
The second trip to the mound by the Yankee pitching coach, and it gives us a chance to look at David Wright pitch by pitch. 5 pitches, the first one outside. Then he's behind the fastball. And this is a pretty good pitch right there. That ball low and away. And we compared it to the pitch that Jabba Chamberlain struck David out on last night. Similar pitch, and he took it right back through the middle.
So another opportunity for David Wright. He had this situation in the first. Show you what happened with a base hit. Got it again. 2-out hit by Bay, followed by the same situation, and David Wright trying to add to a 2-0 Mets lead here in the third. Popped up right side. Will it stay in play? Swisher doesn't see it. Cano has to go a long way and can't get there.
Nick Swisher losing the ball in the gloaming here at Citi Field, and Cano the closest to it. I'm not too sure that Nick could have made that play anyway. It would have been a very awkward play toward the stands.
The Yankees are just happy to see Cano get off that wall and walk without a limp.
Yeah.
Hitting that billboard area, but still came to a rather abrupt stop. So Wright's at bat continues. The 0-1 pitch. Right back up the middle. David Wright delivers again. Here comes Jason Bay. 3-0 Mets.
There's a relaxed face of David Wright. As Joe said, no pun intended, Wright back up the middle. For the second time to drive in his second run of the night. I'll tell you that the game of baseball, like a lot of sports, can leave you in the depths of despair, and then it can elevate you the next night, and that's what's happened to David so far tonight.
So now 2 on with 2 out for Angel Pagan, who has an RBI hit. Really has had a solid season for the Mets, and he gets under this one and launches it into right for Nick Swisher. That's it for the Mets in the third. David Wright has 2 hits, has 2 RBIs. Here's his first. And then moments ago, right back up the middle. 3-0 Mets as we go to the fourth at Citi Field. Company of Major League Baseball. By Valvoline, guarantee your engine up to 300,000 miles. And by Holiday Inn, stay you with the official partner of Major League Baseball road trips. Up above, our aerial coverage provided tonight by DirecTV. The only way to watch every MLB game in HD. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Here's Alex Rodriguez. There's ball 1 low. A-Rod singled his first time. Will be followed by Cano and Swisher. 3-0 now the Mets lead behind their number 2 starter, Mike Pelfrey. Johan Santana, their ace, goes tomorrow night. There's a strike. It's 1-1. Typically when Rodriguez hits, the Yankees win. .356 average in their wins. 27 of his 32 RBIs. Hits just .212 in losses so far this year. That's inside. 2-1. On 2-1. Pelfrey hits the outside corner. It's 2-2.
We talked about it in his first at bat. You pitch him away, it's got to be right there. That's one of those bullpen sessions you were talking about. That's a bullpen session pitch right there.
Here's a 2-2 pitch from Pelfrey, and fastball got him looking. He hit that spot again. 94 miles per hour for strikeout number 2.
Well, there aren't too many right-handers in baseball who are going to hit the last 2 pitches from Pelfrey. Right down the corner lane.
Visit your local Lowe's to cast your Scott's MLB All-Star ballot and enter for a chance to win a VIP All-Star Week experience. Compliments of Scott's. We're excited to be in Southern California, in Anaheim, home of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, for the All-Star game coming up on the 13th of July. Angel Stadium, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. High def here on Fox. That's outside for ball 1 to Cano. Robinson Cano is working his way toward an all-star experience in Southern California. He went once, didn't get a chance to play in Pittsburgh a few years ago because of injury. He takes a strike. It's 1-1. But you start thinking about second baseman in the American League alone, and you think about Robinson Cano, Dustin Pedroia, Ben Zobrist, the Tampa Bay Rays. National League class of at position in the NL is certainly Chase Utley of the Phillies. 2 balls and a strike on Cano.
Hard to believe that Robinson Cano, since coming into the major leagues, has more hits than Chase Utley. I didn't know that until tonight in the Yankee notes.
Here's a ground ball to the right of Castillo. Good play. 2 out.
We've said it before, Joe, and in our view, there's a man in your screen right there who's going to win an American League batting title someday.
And he has really benefited moving up in the order with the departure of Hideki Matsui. He is the number 5 man, and he is protecting Alex Rodriguez, and it hasn't bothered him one bit.
Nope.
Here's Swisher. He's had a left biceps injury that's bothered him. Put him on the shelf for the majority of the week. And it was only bothering him when he was batting left-handed, which he is here. Just a mild strain, and he appears to be over it. Strike 1. An 83-mile-an-hour delivery from Pelfrey. That's getting exactly what they needed out of their 26-year-old right-hander. And missed. Ball and a strike. Pitching coach Dan Warthen has to be happy with what he's seeing, as Pelfrey is 1 strike away from pitching 4 shutout innings to start the night. Now they're in the 11th with the Brewers and the Twins tied at 7. That's inside. 2-2.
You think about the sequence, and the sequence of pitches is so important, so vital to the success of any pitcher. But it was split finger, curveball, fastball, fastball. When you start a hitter off with 2 breaking balls or off-speed pitches, the fastballs that you throw after that, you can throw to a fastball hitter because the fastball appears to be faster than it really is.
The 2-2 is inside, didn't hit him. Swisher dropped the bat, getting out of the way, and it's a full count.
Up and into Teixeira earlier, and now to Nick Swisher. That's all part of the game. Get off of my plate if you're a pitcher.
Got Swisher talking to himself, getting back into the batter's box.
Can't blame him.
It's a full count, 2 out, nobody on. Swisher grounded out his first time and now gets out in front of it, pulls it foul. Swisher hitting .290 at the start of the night, 7 home runs. Yankees have won 7 of the last 8 against the Mets, played in the Met Stadium, whether it was Shea or Citi Field. Swept them last year in a foul backing out of play. This will be the 8th pitch of this at bat with Nick Swisher at the plate. The Mets in the bottom of this inning will have bottom 3 in their lineup: Barajas, Francoeur, and then the pitcher Pelfrey. And we will have our visit with Joe Girardi, the Yankee manager. 3-2. Another foul. I mean, he hit it to the same seat. He just hit it the previous pitch.
So a fan got 2 foul balls.
I'm telling you, it hit the same spot.
All right.
Yankee fan got the foul ball off the bat of Swisher, and now another 3-2 pitch from Pelfrey. Good at bat as it continues. Swisher able to get a piece of that breaking ball from the right-hander. Yankees had lost 8 of 12 prior to last night's 2-1 win. They're 10 games over 500, but trailing here tonight. Another 3-2 pitch and a ground ball up the middle. What a good at bat by Swisher. He's on with 2 out here in the 4th.
You know, that's a feisty at bat right there. 10 pitches. The first pitch, a splitter for a strike. Curveball misses. Then the fastball that appeared to be faster. And this one here to make it 3-2. Then he fouls one off. Another one. Same spot as Joe said. Another one. Base hit up the middle. I tell you, Kevin Long, the terrific hitting instructor for the Yankees, has to love that at bat by Nick Swisher.
Here is Francisco Cervelli. And he breaks his bat, trying to plop one into right. Over to get it is Francoeur, and the inning is over. 2 out hit by Swisher. Yankees have stranded 4. Bottom of the 4th, 3-0. Mets on top. It's the interleague play Subway Series, and after losing last night 2-1, the Mets lead tonight 3-0. Rod Barajas is first up with Francoeur and Pelfrey to follow. Bottom three in the lineup for the Mets against Phil Hughes. We had a chance to visit with Joe Girardi, and we'll play that for you as first pitch misses to Barajas. Struck out his first time. Top home run total across baseball among catchers with his 10. Good breaking ball from Phil Hughes. A ball and a strike. And now the 1-1. Off the end of the bat, pop up on the infield. Teixeira, the Gold Glover, is there for out number 1. And here is our visit with Joe Girardi. First question was about the starter for the Mets, Mike Pelfrey, and that the Yankees had their hands full tonight.
Yeah, this kid's got excellent stuff. He's got a great sinker, and he knows how to use his off-speed. His split finger has been effective as well tonight.
What do you think has been the key for your ball club to still be 10 games over 500 despite all the injuries that you seem to deal with every day?
Well, I think a lot of it has been our pitching. Our starting pitching has been excellent, and most times our bullpen has been very good as well. But, I mean, we still have a lot of quality players that are running out there every day, and our team is really deep.
The last guy that you just put on the DL, Jorge Posada, is a big loss for you. But how about a word on the job that Cervelli has done so far this season?
He's done a great job, and he's a young kid that, you think about the games that we've had this weekend. Boston for 2, Tampa Bay for 2, and the Mets for 3. So he's been asked to carry a heavy load, but he's done a great job.
I like seeing that guy standing behind you over your left shoulder.
Oh, who's that?
Gino.
Oh, Gino. It's so great to have him back. This is his first road trip, and he's going to make another one to Minnesota on Tuesday.
That's terrific. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks guys.
Joe. Gene Monahan, who has battled health trouble this season, and this year is his 48th consecutive season with the New York Yankees organization. Wow. He has seen it all. The last 38 of those years as the head athletic trainer at the major league level. So whenever that book comes out, I'm buying it.
Outpouring of affection from the players for a man who's helped so many for almost 50 years.
Francoeur fouls it back. It's still 0-2. Francoeur fouled out his first time. Pelfrey, the pitcher, on deck. Here's a strikeout, number 3 on the night for Phil Hughes. Right now, a DirecTV game break. Here's Chris and Kevin in the studio.
All right.
Thanks, guys. What a catch by Corey Hart and Wright to keep that game going and give the Brewers a chance to win in extra innings. Pitch is a strike to Pelfrey. Mike struck out his first time. Hughes has 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, and he's allowed 3 runs on 5 hits. Pelfrey coming off a win in Atlanta this past Monday. It was the first win by the Mets rotation during the month of May. 16th game the month of May, and a member of the rotation finally had a win. And it was Pelfrey, and he's backing it up here tonight. 2 out, nobody on. 0-2 pitch. Another strikeout, 4 on the night. For Phil Hughes, we go to the 5th. What a shot. 3-0. Mets lead the Yankees. and 2/3 of the Jonas Brothers. Kevin not pictured. Nick and Joe are there for your viewing pleasure. Said that during the break, and Tim, you tried to act like you didn't know who those two guys were.
I wasn't acting.
I know you have their posters up in your bedroom. Randy Wynn.
That's Jonas and the Whale.
Oh, okay. There's a foul out of play. And they count 1-1 Hey, we want to thank Lee DeWise and Crystal Bowersox for the job they did singing Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Did that at Dodger Stadium to help get us on the air tonight. Did a great job in the American Idol Finals Tuesday, Wednesday, 8 Eastern. It's down to 2. Lee and Crystal. And another season of American Idol will be in the books. There's a pitch that misses for ball 2, 2-1. Before the game, Matthew Morrison of the Fox show Glee sang the national anthem and did a great job.
Terrific.
One of the best we've heard in a long time. Here's a ball off Pelfrey, and that just kills it on the infield, and Randy Wynn is on to start the 5th for the Yankees. A base hit. And Pelfrey, with that 6'7" body and the reach, got up and got enough of it to turn it into a hit.
That's exactly what happened, because had that ball gotten over Mike, then Castillo probably makes the play, even though Randy Wynn still runs fairly well.
Brings in Phil Hughes. Saw him swing the bat. Now we will see if he can bunt.
And Joe Girardi saw what happened when one of his pitchers bunted last night. You could see Wright squeezing in at third, looking for the bunt.
And it's a decent bunt. Good effort and action by Hughes. The sacrifice is good. 3-4 with Ike Davis feeding Luis Castillo. There's John Maine, who was put on the disabled list yesterday. And you can read lips. They're still talking. He's still talking about the situation with his shoulder and him going on the DL.
And you can tell by the eyes of John Maine that I agree with that, Joe.
It looked like he said, they haven't asked me how I feel.
Yeah, that's right.
And there's a discrepancy between management and John Maine. Maine says he's okay to pitch, or he feels no different now than he did at the beginning of the season. John Maine threw 5 pitches and was pulled from his last start against Washington. The Mets went on to win that game for a guy who's had shoulder trouble, had that right shoulder operated on. They're categorizing it as shoulder weakness. And now there's been a little war of words. Heck, there was in the dugout when he was pulled out of the game on Thursday.
Well, in fact, you're going to see the same facial expression from John Maine here that you just saw in the dugout. Jerry Manuel had enough after 5 pitches in Washington.
And then the two got into it in the dugout. And since then, John Maine's been put on the disabled list. Free agent to be, and he's back on the DL. Runner at second, 1 out. Jeter takes a good fastball from Pelfrey. Strike 1. Yankees trying to get on the board here in the 5th inning, trailing 3-0. Jeter is 0 for 2. Want to get Ken Rosenthal in on the discussion regarding Maine. Here's a pitch in the dirt. Jerry Manuel had the quote yesterday. Somebody brought up pitching left-handed. Jerry Manuel was joking around the manager of the Mets and said he may have more stuff pitching left-handed, and then backed off that, laughed about it, and said he's competitive, a very competitive pitcher. But that thing is just simmering right now between John Maine and Jerry Manuel. Dan Worthen, the pitching coach, and he's now on the DL. Runner at second with 1 out, 1 ball, 1 strike. Jeter fouls it, strike 2. Ken Rosenthal, what more do you have on that situation?
Joe, clearly the Mets are trying to look after John Maine's best interests, but you can question their style. And you mentioned pitching coach Dan Worthen. He said that John Maine is a habitual liar when it comes to his health. And that comment Manuel made about better stuff left-handed, that too is the kind of thing that upsets a player. And then there's the larger question. if they were only going to let John Maine throw 5 pitches, then why did they allow him to start the game in the first place?
Well, I don't know that I told the complete story. Here's a 1-2 pitch from Pelfrey, and it's down and away. I mean, Maine was a guy that a couple of years ago was throwing 93, 94 miles per hour. And when he had a bad bullpen session before he went out to make that start on Thursday. 5 pitches in, the radar gun was in the low 80s. And they thought, well, there's something wrong with him because that's not how John Maine pitches.
Coupled with the fact that his prior start, he threw 12 straight balls in Florida.
Here's a 2-2 to Jeter inside, full count.
Walking the bases loaded with nobody out. So that added to his performance in Washington. And I guess they were thinking, well, he's got to be one of the guys in the starting rotation. We've already got 2 guys down. They had Neese down. Ali Perez was in the bullpen.
Here's a 3-2 to Jeter. Win at second, 1 out, and a ground ball to the right side. Castillo makes the play, 2 out. Over to third is Randy Wynn for Brett Gardner.
I think Dan Warthen's comment about habitual liar, I think if he had it to do over again, he would use a better choice of words. The left-handed thing, though, I mean, Jerry Manuel was using his humor and followed up with the fact that Maine was competitive. There are just certain managers who make comments and really, in trying to protect the player, who cares how the player feels? You're trying to protect him.
Runner at third, 2 out. Gardner trying to get the Yankees on the board. They trail 3-0, and the pitch is over but low, ball 1. I was going to ask you, I mean, if you're Jerry Manuel and John Maine is upset at you with all that's going on and your job on the line, so what?
So what?
Okay, get in line.
Next, right.
That pitch is up and away, 2-0.
I remember Gene Mock, who was a great manager, never reached postseason, but had a lot of great things to say about the game and about the human psyche. Once said that instead of a manager trying to understand 25 players, wouldn't it make more sense for 25 players to understand one manager?
Here's a 2-0. Fastball for a strike, 2-1. John Maine was 15-10 in 2007. Certainly has not been consistent since then. 3 months on the DL last year. Retired right shoulder. Had surgery on his shoulder in 2008. Runner at third, 2 out, 2-1 pitch is fouled away, 2-2. Leadoff hit by Wynn, an infield hit. The bunt by Hughes, a good bunt. Jeter grounded out. He's 0 for 3 tonight. In the 12th inning. A new ballpark in Minnesota. Tied at 7 with the Brewers. Here's a 2-2. Outside, a full count. Gardner with 12 RBIs on the season. Looking for his first hit. And the Yankees 4th, and he grounds it foul outside third. Here's what Jerry Manuel, if he wants to pick up the newspaper, has to or gets to look at. With the Mets playing the way they're playing. It's the Daily News, the Post, right on down the line. One headline or back page picture and title after another. 3 balls, 2 strikes, runner at third, 2 out. And the strikeout ends the inning. Pelfrey has been outstanding. 3 strikeouts on the night. No runs on just 3 hits. His Mets lead the Yankees 3-0. job with this ballpark.
Lovely place, except for hitters.
First pitch to Reyes is low for ball one. It'll be Reyes, Castillo, and Bay, the top three in the lineup for the Mets. Phil Hughes struck out 2 last inning. He has 4 on the night. He's allowed 3 runs on 5 hits. The 2-0 pitch from Hughes. Reyes pops it up. Left side, foul ball, and out of play. Well, Reyes is getting under so many pitches.
He has a lot of fly balls and can utilize his speed by hitting the ball on the ground, particularly as a left-handed batter.
Reyes looking for his first hit. Gets under another one. Pops it into shallow left and easy for Wynn. 1 out. How about a DirecTV game break? How about Chris and Kevin? Thank you, guys. Here's a look at the AL East, a 4-game lead for those Tampa Bay Rays over the Yankees. Toronto 6 out, the Red Sox 8.5 out. Here's Castillo and a ball up and away from Phil Hughes. Castillo is 0 for 2. You think the Tampa Bay Rays are the best team in baseball?
Yes. I don't think there's any doubt about it right now, but things change in, a couple of months if the Yankees get back full strength. And I think that's the only way to judge it. Red Sox, it's very, very early. They're 8.5 back. Toronto's been a surprise. But I don't think anybody can refute the fact that through the first 7 weeks of the season, Tampa Bay's head and shoulders above any other team.
You're right, though. You talk about the Yankees getting healthy, and really Tampa Bay hasn't had to go through a major injury. And you wonder if, they don't have the resources to go out and fill a hole if they run across a hole in their lineup.
Right. If anything, create a hole by losing a guy like Carl Crawford, perhaps.
Here's a pitch up and away, 2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitching is terrific. Still questions in my mind about the lineup, but it's been an unbelievable start. There's no doubt. And for as well as the Yankees have played, 10 games over 500, they're 4 games out. There's always the safety net for Girardi and the Yankees of the wild card spot. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Castillo trying to get on in front of Jason Bay, who has 2 hits in this game. And the next from the right-hander is up and away, full count. There's Bay. He started each rally with a 2-out hit. David Wright with 2 of the 3 RBIs for the Mets. It's full count now. Hughes has walked 2. And Castillo fights it off. Showed you that shot of the Empire State Building going to break a couple of innings ago. And depending on which team wins this 3-game Subway Series, that team's colors will be displayed on all 4 sides of the Empire State Building on Monday.
That's very nice, isn't it?
Here's a 3-2 again from Phil Hughes, and it's ball 4. It barely missed. Castillo kept peeking in there to make sure it was ball 4 on his way to first. Here's a Verizon game summary. The 3rd walk handed out by Phil Hughes. There you go. David Wright, 2 for 2 with a couple of RBIs. That gets him going. The Mets hope. Pelfrey has been in charge, and the Yankees 1 through 4 hitters are 1 for 9. There's the Empire State Building on this 70-degree night. 1 on, 1 out, and a check on Castillo, who is playing with a sore foot. sore left foot that had him out of the lineup last night. According to his manager, Jerry Manuel, he said it's like he's playing with a rock in his shoe. Another check on Castillo, who has stolen 5, been caught 1 time.
Phil Hughes has balked once this year, and that is very close to a balk move. It's the old Don Drysdale move where you lean on that left leg ever so slightly and then turn toward first base. Very quick feet for a big man.
Bay has his 3rd hit of the night. Castillo will turn and go. The throw by Gardner's too late. And it's 1st and 3rd with 1 out for the Mets here in the 5th.
Well, that is excellent base running on the part of Luis Castillo with 1 out, knowing the outs. And for Jason Bay, his 3rd straight hit. That's a cut fastball over the heart of the plate. Castillo, knowing obviously how many outs there are, taking a chance, and it worked.
Castillo has to take his shoe off. He's hurt, but nobody from the training staff is going out to check him.
That rock in his shoe just got bigger.
I don't know why nobody's going to check on him. He's down on a knee now, and he's really limping. He's able to continue. And now meeting on the mound. And Ken Rosenthal, I know you had a conversation with Jason Bay about his stroke and how he thinks things are starting to come together.
He does, Joe. He said yesterday when we talked that he felt that his swing was starting to come together, that April was a blur. He was trying to find it. But over the last 2 weeks now, he has hit over 400. Still stuck on the 1 home run. But this guy is notoriously streaky. Even last year, 36 homers, 119 RBIs, but in June and July, he batted only .213.
Well, he's 3 for 3 tonight. Chan-Ho Park gets loose for the Yankees in their pen, and Ike Davis reaches for it and fouls it back, strike 1. Opportunity here for the Mets to add to a 3-0 lead, and it falls on the shoulders of the big rookie Ike Davis. 3, 4, 5 hitters tonight for the Mets. 5 for 5 with 2 walks, 2 RBIs, and 3 runs scored. Here's the 0-1. 91-mile-an-hour fastball, strike 2.
When you think about Jason Bay, I mean, he has gone in 1 year, a very quick offseason. He's gone from the green monster to the black monster here in New York. It's a monster of a different color, that's for sure.
And it takes a lot to ride one out of this park.
Yeah.
Here's the 0-2. And Davis chased it, strikes out, and a big strikeout for Phil Hughes, number 5 on the night.
You can see Cervelli standing up. And Hughes hits the mitt.
That was pitch number 87 on the night, and an important one. Now it takes another hit from David Wright, 1st and 3rd, 2 out. Wright with an RBI single in the 1st, did it again in the 3rd, and both at bats he went back up the middle. Last night, a couple of strikeouts, 57 on the season for David Wright. Grounded out to end the game against Mariano Rivera. Breaking ball for a strike. Wright didn't like the call.
David thought it was outside, but that was a good pitch.
Yankees in their half of the 6th will have the heart of their lineup. And Phil Hughes is 1 strike away from keeping it a 3-run game.
First time up, David Wright with a single through the middle with 2 strikes. He had 1 strike on him his second time up. This could be a huge lift if he could get a base hit here.
92, and Wright got a piece of it.
With Cervelli standing up again.
Ike Davis struck out. Reyes led off this inning, fly to left. A walk, then a hit followed. And the 0-2. Up again. How does a hitter not see a catcher stand up?
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. I don't like that play. I've never liked it. It's something that has started. It's kind of a revolutionary thing over the last 5 years. You can hear the pounding of the mitt. You can hear it high. I mean, prior to that last pitch, Cervelli shaking his head no after he came back from the bench. Whatever that was, that's odd.
Bay takes off. The strikeout ends the inning. Cervelli pumps his fist. Back-to-back strikeouts of Ike Davis and David Wright. Phil Hughes keeps it a 3-0 game. Part of the order coming up for the Yankees in the 6th. Part of the order for the Yankees in the top of the 6th. Big inning here for Pelfrey, who has struck out 3, allowed no runs on 3 hits. He has been in charge. Shift on in the infield as Teixeira takes strike 2. Up to 86 pitches on the night. Teixeira has to protect with an 0-2 count, and he takes strike 3 as Pelfrey rings him up. 4th strikeout of the night for the right-hander for the Mets. Well, we are thrilled to have with us Alex Cora, who's kind enough to join us from the dugout. I bet the mood down there is a little lighter than it has been the past few weeks with you guys up 3-0 on the Yankees.
Well, Joe, you know how it is. Everything starts with pitching, and Pelfrey's doing a great job for us. And whenever you got your starter doing what he's doing, you know, the mood is a little bit lighter.
And you guys are bombarded with questions about what's wrong and about what's going on with your team. Here's Rodriguez with 1 out, nobody on, and Pelfrey gets one by him. You've got 2 bona fide starters at the top of your rotation, and Pelfrey is showing here tonight just how good he can be.
Yeah, he's been doing a great job for us the whole season. I think he's becoming more consistent. He has a secondary pitch now with that split finger, and like we always know, his fastball is up there with the best of them, and he's pounded the strike zone. Last year it was a struggle for him, but instead of looking at it as a negative, he took it as a step, as a learning process, and he's doing a great job for us.
Alex, you've been in the game for a long time and realize that confidence may be the biggest word in the game after talent.
It is. Last year he struggled a lot. He was having a lot of confidence issues. His mechanics were a little bit off, but in spring training, you could tell that he took that step forward. He was building. He was getting better in spring training, and his last outing in spring, it was against the Rays in Tampa. He did a great job for us, and it seems like he just took off.
Is this ballpark in the minds of your hitters as much as the media makes it out to be, with guys like Wright and Bay and others trying to get it out of here?
Obviously, it's not on my mind. I can care less. I'm just gonna hit my singles to left and take my walks. But it's something that we're used to it. And as you can see in our record, we're playing good baseball here at home. There's some balls obviously that the big guys they hit, and obviously they get frustrated. But they don't live and die with that. We're putting good at bats. We're getting better, and we're playing good at home.
Here's another strikeout. So Pelfrey has to deal with Teixeira. Rodriguez strikes out Rodriguez for the second time in this game. And there's the pitch that got him. 2 out, nobody on. And everybody keeps saying, every time they talk about you, Alex, they say future manager. How about your current manager and what he's going through right now? That's got to make you think twice about wanting to do this job.
I was thinking twice since I got into the league. It's not an easy job, but Jerry's doing a good job. He's trying to keep everybody loose. Everybody positive. For how bad people think we're playing. We're playing around 500 baseball. And out of every series that we play, I think the one we really struggle was the one in Florida. And we play a lot of close games. We know we're going to hit. Jose Reyes is not going to be a 210 hitter. He's going to pick it up. Obviously Jason Bay is going to hit home runs, and I think we're going to be in good shape.
Here's another strike on Cano, and your right-hander, Mike Pelfrey's got a shot to strike out the side here against the heart of the order in the 6th inning, up 3-0. It's got to be odd, though, to get the questions and to believe, if you do, that this series, and then you've got the Phillies coming in at the beginning of the week, this could make or break the season as we're playing in the month of May.
I don't think it's a make or break week for us. Like we always talk about, and I think every winning ball club talks about, you just got to win series. And, we need to win this game to have a shot tomorrow and then enjoy the off day and then take up the Phillies. But we can't be thinking ahead of time. We got to concentrate here the next 3 or 4 innings, and do our jobs and try to win this game so we can win the series.
I thought we were going to lose our interview with you because Castillo was limping after he got to third base a moment ago.
Nah, he's fine. We know Louis, he battles.
Now.
But he's okay. Look at him.
He looks great, yeah.
Cano might hit a ground ball here in the hole, and he might dive for it, throw to first, and, he'll be fine. I'm not worried about that.
You may have to renegotiate.
No.
You get a lot more playing time than you ever expected.
I got to call my agent. I know there were a lot of critics out there with my contract, but I got to call my agent for that one.
Well, if Castillo does that, you'll be in the booth next year.
I think I can still play a little bit of baseball.
No, I was only kidding.
No, I know, Tim. I would love to be with you guys, but you know what? I enjoy it down here, and it's just like this night. You look at this game; it's a great baseball game, and a great night for New York, and we're enjoying this.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Cano. 2 out, nobody on here in the top of the 6th. Then a foul out of play. What's the deal with you, your singing voice, and the guitar?
No, there's no singing.
You just play?
I just play. It was just.
You sang a little Pearl Jam one night, I heard, right?
No. I just a little bit of air guitar. That Rock Band game. I got the guitar in my locker. And I took advantage of it.
But it's not hooked up to anything?
No, not at all. Trust me, I'm horrible.
Here's another foul by Robinson Cano. So you're playing an unattached Guitar Hero guitar. You're trying to keep it light, and that can be your role on a ball club, is to try and lighten the mood around the clubhouse.
Just try to be, keep everybody loose and help the young kids out, like Ike Davis and and Jose Reyes. You know, we got a lot of veteran guys here like Fernando Tatis, Henry Blanco that, you know, they were brought in here to help this team win ball games.
Here's a base hit up the middle by Robinson Cano, and the 6th inning continues for the Yankees. Base hit by Cano, and I know you appreciate how good that guy is for the Yankees, Robinson Cano, and it seems like he's just scratching the surface, Alex. He might be one of the better players in the game before too long.
He's becoming, he reminds me a lot of Robbie Alomar with more power. You know, it seems like the game comes for him so easy. You know, he moves at second very smooth, you know, and, you know, a few years ago, I think he had some issues with Joe over there, you know, and Joe benched him, you know, and I think that was the best thing that happened to Robbie. And since that day on, I think he just took off, you know, and, you know, he's up there with the best second basemen in the game with the Utlys and the Petroias.
But I would say this, for Cano and in defense of Torre or any manager, there were some lazy errors that he was making earlier in his career. And you say the game comes easy, and at times it looked like he would lay back or let up a little bit, and that's gone from his game now. So his game has changed from that.
Yeah, I mean, the way he plays the second base, that play he made last night on David, you know, I think a few years ago it would have been, you know, a base hit to right and tie game for the Mets, you know, but, you know, he's playing great defense, and obviously he's becoming you know, he was a great hitter when he got here to the league, and now he's a more dangerous hitter.
There's a strike over the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nick Swisher at the plate had a base hit. The end of a long at bat his last time up. Alex Cora from the dugout is nice enough to join us while his team is on top 3-0 as we play in the 6th inning, trying to even this Subway Series at a game apiece. And Pelfrey on 1-1 misses outside. 2 balls and a strike. I don't want the inning to end because we have to get to break really quickly in these games, Alex, without us getting a chance to say thank you for doing this from the dugout. And I notice you've put yourself away from all of your teammates so that they can't give you any trouble while you do this on national television.
I know Henry Blanco's in the clubhouse right now laughing at me. He's making fun of me.
But look at that. I mean, you got a trainer down there. Here's a shot into the corner. And it is a fair ball off the bat of Swisher. Robinson Cano will be held at third. It's a double. And second and third with 2 out here in the 6th. Alex, we're going to let you concentrate on...
I got to get ready. I might have to pinch hit.
Okay. It's all, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys, and take care.
All right. Alex Cora from the Mets dugout. And the Yankees have their best scoring opportunity here with second and third 2 out, and Cervelli coming up, and Dan Worthen, the pitching coach, coming out.
They ball about a foot fair down the right field line, and with the Yankees trailing 3-0, there is no way Robbie Thompson, the third base coach, could send the runner. Holding Cano up. It's a pretty standard play with 1 out or 2 outs in a tie ball game. I think he may try to score him, but not under these circumstances with the Yankees trailing by 3. Up goes the stop sign, and Cano stays at third.
So second and third 2 out. And Cervelli is coming up. We have another night of primetime Saturday baseball for you coming up on June 26th. Tim and I will be in L.A. for the Yankees and the Dodgers, also the Red Sox at the Giants, and that crosstown rivalry of the Cubs and the White Sox. 7 Eastern, June 26th. And don't forget the All-Star game on July 13th. So be pitch number 105 from Pelfrey to Cervelli, who's been very good in these situations for the Yankees. Strike 1. Cervelli is hitting .667 with runners in scoring position and 2 out this season. Base hit could make it a 1-run game. Nobody is up for the Mets in their bullpen. The 0-1. Broken bat. Knocked down by Pelfrey. That's going to score a run. In to score is Cano, and it's 3-1 as Cervelli gets an infield hit.
I think Pelfrey made a mistake trying to get in front of the ball. He could backhand that ball, and it wouldn't look as awkward. Remember, as we've said, he's 6'7". I think the ball hit his shoe. I'm not too sure it hit the glove. So he laid leather on it, but it was the wrong leather.
It is a base hit, and it is an RBI for Cervelli.
You want the glove involved, not your shoe. So Pelfrey literally kicked the ball. Cano scores easily. Swisher goes to third, and Cervelli has yet another hit with 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
Randy Wynn had an infield hit his last time up when he bounced one up the middle, and Pelfrey went up to knock it down. First and third, Randy Wynn takes the ball down and away. Cervelli is now 7 for 10 this season with 2 out and runners in scoring position, and now the Mets bullpen gets busy. One-0 pitch. Ground ball to second. Castillo is there. The inning is over. Yankees get a run on 3 hits. Strand 2 of left 7. Bottom of the 6th. Mets coming up. Leading 3-1. Have set out to rebuild local ballparks. Don't miss your chance to get involved and to win a new Chevy at ChevyBaseball.com. Up above, aerial coverage provided tonight by DirecTV. The only way to watch every MLB game in HD. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Trying to bunt his way on was Pagan, and it's foul. Strike 1. Pagan, Barajas, and Francoeur. If anybody gets on, I would guess a pinch hitter. You'd have to think Pelfrey is at the end of his night. And if that is the case, he was terrific. Maybe he goes back out there, but his pitch count, he's getting up near 110. The bullpen for the Mets has been one of the bright spots. They've been busy. They've worked a lot of innings, but they have a combined ERA down there of 3.12, 4th best in baseball. Jerry Manuel may have to dip into that bullpen here in a moment. Foul back, strike 2. So far for Pelfrey, 6 innings, 1 run, 6 hits. Mejia gets loose, the 20-year-old right-hander, who eventually figures to be a starter for the Mets. Here's the 0-2. Up and away, ball 1. And 5 strikeouts for Pelfrey against just 2 walks. Good work tonight, and we'll see if his evening is finished. Pagan leading off, waits for a 1-2 pitch from Phil Hughes, who has persevered. Another foul.
Joe, you mentioned pitch count, and there was an interesting article in Sports Illustrated, the May 24th issue, about Nolan Ryan, whose Texas Rangers are leading the American League West by 4 games, and about pitch counts.
Here's a 1-2.
Nolan saying that there is no reason that young pitchers today cannot pitch as many pitches as we did 40 years ago. As a matter of fact, the opposite should be true. That today the guys are bigger, stronger, and they should be able to pitch more and throw more pitches. He said pitchers have been pampered through the years, and that will not be the case with the Rangers.
Here's one into the corner. It's a foul ball off the bat of Pagan.
Nolan saying, and I will quote, he said, "There's no reason why kids today can't pitch as many innings as people did in my era. Today, a quality start is 6 innings. What's quality about that?"
Quality starts became, that was a phrase that was developed by agents.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah, look, my guy had 25 quality starts. What does that mean? Well, don't worry about it. Just pay us. 6 innings, 3 runs or less. That's a quote-unquote quality start.
I just love how Nolan Ryan is countering the thinking of modern-day baseball. And he's doing a good job, and he is putting everything behind it with Texas, and it's working thus far.
Here's a 2-2 and a foul out of play. So with that fireworks display happening here on the 22nd of May, pretty good show going on over there. Pretty good show going on in here. 3-1 game, 2-run game. Bill Webb, our director, loves fireworks.
Loves them.
Loves them. 2-2 is the count on Pagan. And he just flicks at it and flips it into left. Randy Wynn misplays it. Gets over his head. Goes into the corner, and Pagan will end up at second base.
I think you could see Pagan rolling his eyes because he did not run hard out of the box, thinking that Randy Wynn had an easy play. They run hard until the umpire calls you out.
Should be an error. We're waiting on the ruling. We just missed it.
Yeah. I'm not sure he laid a glove on it. But that's a ball that could have been caught. He went too far under it.
Yeah, it took a bad route.
Yeah.
Either way, it's a runner at second, nobody out. And they're giving Pagan a double. Second hit of the night. Could be the first error of the year on Randy Wynn, but it's a double. And Phil Hughes, who was in trouble last inning, first and third, 1 out, got out of it. As a runner at second, nobody out, and he gets strike 1 past the bat of Barajas. You talk about pitch counts, and there are organizations who almost use it as a stepladder approach, where pitchers can't go more than 30 innings than they went the year before as they develop at the big league level. Here's a ground ball, diving stop by Teixeira for the first out of the inning. He took a hit and probably an RBI away from Barajas, who moves the runner over.
I've never seen a right-handed throwing first baseman with the range Mark Teixeira has. A guy who changed the face of first base, played for the Mets for so many years. Keith Hernandez coming to the Mets in 1983 in a June 15th trade for Neil Allen. I think it was Rick Ownby. Rick Ownby, right?
Yep.
And it showed a lot of people in New York just how good a first baseman could be. But Mark Teixeira is showing them again.
Here is Jeff Francoeur with Our interview guest, Alex Cora, on deck. Ball one inside. Infield is in with Pagan at third, one out. Leadoff double. A ball misplayed down the left field line by Wynn. The ground out. Move Pagan to third, and now the 1-0. 2-0. Boone Logan was the left-hander getting loose, and Chandler Park is up for the second time for the Yankees in their bullpen. The count. Francoeur has 23 RBIs on the season. And that almost grazed Francoeur up high. You can hear him. It's 3-0. Time called at the plate by Cervelli. Mets trying to get their 3-run lead back. Yankees got a run in the top half of this sixth. Yankees will have the number 9 spot to lead off in the 7th. There's a strike on the outside corner. Good pitch on 3-0. It's 3-1. Mejia appears destined for action here tonight. Pagan at third, one out. 3-1 pitch from Phil Hughes. Good rip. It's a full count. Next week, Fox Saturday Baseball will be back at our normal time in the afternoon, 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. There are the matchups. It's presented by Budweiser. Cubs and Cardinals at Wrigley. Mariners and Angels, Rangers, Twins. Here's a 3-2. Popped up on the infield, foul territory now, and Cervelli is out of room. And the count stays full. Francoeur got under that one and sure feels fortunate that he's still at the plate.
Well, more than any other hitter in baseball, a pitcher can go out of a strike zone to get Jeff Francoeur. Francoeur, one of the freest of swingers, has walked only 11 times in 156 plate appearances.
3-2. Another foul. And again, it's out of play.
It's interesting, on contact, Pagan was running from third base. When you have a 2-run lead, you can do that and hope that even on a ground ball to an infielder, you can take a chance. High chopper. Looks to me like he's going on contact.
3-2 pitch and a strikeout for Phil Hughes. A big one. Cervelli very animated behind the plate. Pumps his fist, points out at Phil Hughes, and that's strikeout number 7.
He just blows the fastball right by Francoeur, right on the corner. I thought you had an interesting question for Joe Girardi before the game when you asked, what is Francisco Cervelli going to be like in 2013?
Well, I said, have you noticed any change in Cervelli? Because he was more of a part-timer with a healthy Jorge Posada. And Joe Girardi told us early in the year, first Saturday when we were in Tampa, he's got a lot of bounce back there. I said, does he still have the bounce? He said, oh, he'll have the bounce for a while. I said, how about 2013? He may not have the bounce then.
I can guarantee you there's less bounce the more you catch.
Here's Alex Cora, now a member of our broadcast team here at Citi Field, and we'll see if he can get a base hit, or if Phil Hughes can get him to end the 6th. The big strikeout of Francoeur coming back from a 3-0 count. Strike one. Reggie Jackson is in the dugout here at Citi Field. You never know where you're going to run into Reggie.
That's correct.
Hunter at third, 2 out. Pagan was at second with nobody out. And against this Yankee team, which has the most comeback wins in baseball the last 2 years, could be a big run sitting over at third with 2 out for Alex Cora. The 0-1. Strike 2. Tell you, if Phil Hughes comes back and gets Cora and gets around that misplay in left that went for a double, right after getting around first and third, 1 out by striking out Ike Davis and David Wright in the 5th, this has been a quality start.
Yeah, yep, agreed.
The 0-2. Still throwing hard. He has 114 pitches under his belt. He'll need at least one more. Logan and Chan Hill Park now just watching. It's between Phil Hughes and Alex Cora. A 1-2. That caught the umpire on its way back after fouling off the bat of Cora. Todd Tishner is the home plate umpire. Got him on the left shoulder.
Looked like it grazed Cervelli on the mask and Todd on the left shoulder. The umpire does have padding under that shirt. A lot of people may not know that. But not only shin guards under the pants, but protection of both shoulders and a hard plastic chest protector under his shirt.
Another 1-2 to Cora. Like he was just trying to flip it into left field and he fouled it. Still 1-2 and shaking out the hands. Cervelli again pops up from behind home plate on the delivery. Count remains 1-2.
Enthusiasm is not Francisco's short suit.
Francisco Rodriguez, looks like he already pitched. That warms up his shoulder before he goes out there. 1-2. Cora grounds it right side, base hit, and the Mets have their 3-run lead back. It's 4-1 here in the 6th. And that's it for Phil Hughes.
I think Joe Girardi's going to make a double switch with the pitcher Phil Hughes drew up first in the 7th inning.
Goes to the umpire, and he will do just that. Hughes upset. He's out in the 6th with the Mets leading 4-1. Good game. A big base hit by Alex Cora. Double switch Kevin Russo, who was the hero last night for the Yankees, takes over in left. He will bat ninth. Batting eighth and pitching is Chan-Ho Park, who missed a little over a month with a strained hamstring. Cora is on. 2 out. And the batter is Jose Reyes. Strike one from Park. Most recently with the Philadelphia Phillies, but made his name really in the big leagues with the Dodgers. Here's an 0-1. Strike two.
For those of you who may not know what a double switch is, it's used only in the National League where the pitcher hits. It's the rarest of circumstances when it would be used in the American League, if ever. But since the left fielder made the last out in the inning, the left fielder is put in the game in the bottom of the sixth, and he'll lead off in the top of the seventh. And the pitcher will bat eighth. So you protect your bullpen, and you get a guy who would normally be a pinch hitter to lead off an inning.
0-2 is the count on Jose Reyes. His average is down to 207. So again, if you don't have Beltran, Reyes is hitting 200. Bay has 1 home run. Good night tonight for David Wright, but all the strikeouts. Rotation ineffective and injured. That's the state of the Mets.
I think you brought up the point earlier in the game about Reyes and the fly balls. And Reyes does not have the type power. 19 home runs was his high, but he's not a power hitter. And usually balls in the air, particularly in this ballpark, are going to be outs.
He's not gone deep this season.
No. 3 flyouts, 1 to third, right, and left tonight.
Here's a 1-2, and Reyes able to get out of the way. Castillo is on deck. Base hit right field. A line drive off the bat of Reyes. Cora will stop at second. And it's 2 on, 2 out.
This is a tracer to right field. Middle of the plate, and Reyes with his first hit.
So Reyes,
usually first hits bring smiles.
And it did onto the face of Jose Reyes. And now Luis Castillo will have a 2-out RBI chance. Alex Cora, the lead runner. Great speed behind him with Reyes. And a ground ball right at Teixeira. That'll do it for the Mets. They get a run. Alex Cora dropped the headset. Picked up the bat. Got a pinch hit. Base hit for an RBI. It's 4-1 Mets after 6. Back after this from your local Fox station. The first to strike out in the 8th inning. See the list of eligible players and to answer, visit foxsports.com/tunein to make your prediction before the final out of the 7th. Not in the game, you can sign up today for next week's MLB on Fox game at foxsports.com/tunein. Here's Henry Mejia, 20-year-old right-hander. He is young. He's got electric stuff. And the question is, as he rings up the radar gun at 96, is he going to stay with the Mets in their bullpen? Are they going to try and stretch him out during the big league season, or are they going to send him out, send him back to the minor leagues and get him some innings, stretch out his arm, and have him return as a starter? Counts 1 ball, 1 strike on Russo, batting in the number 9 spot. Took over in the double switch last inning. The 1-1. Right back up the middle, and Russo picks up where he left off last night. Leadoff man is on. Let's go down to Ken Rosenthal with a star from tonight. Ken?
Thanks, Joe. We're here with Mike Pelfrey. Mike, seemed like you were very aggressive tonight. A lot of first pitch strikes. What was your thought process coming in?
Going over the game plan for the game, they said get ahead. So when you get ahead early in the count, it kind of changes the team's mindset out there. So I did that, and luckily I was throwing the split for strikes, and I thought it was very good tonight.
Now, final inning, you nearly get out of it without a run. Tell me what happened on the ball Cervelli hit.
Well, I felt pretty unathletic out there. The ball hit my glove and then hit my shoe. So that was the second time tonight. So I obviously felt pretty unathletic not being able to get to that ball.
David Wright, Jason Bay, both have struggled pretty much all season, both having big nights. From your perspective, how gratifying is it to see these guys finally doing that?
That's huge, and those are the type of players that when they get going, they can carry us. So, hopefully this is just the beginning of things to come for them.
Mike, thank you very much. Joe, back to you.
All right, and our thanks to Mike Pelfrey and to the Mets for allowing us to interview Alex Cora and Mike Pelfrey during the course of this game. Jay Horowitz is the head of their PR and is one of the best ever at that position. In the top of the 7th, the leadoff base hit up the middle by Russo. Jeter is at the plate, and Henry Mejia brings home a 1-1. It's high. Going to bring a game break here in a moment. Boston's leading at Philadelphia 5-0, but there's more to that story, and we'll hear it from Chris and Kevin. Here's a 2-1 pitch. That's low. 3 balls and a strike. So this bullpen for the Mets, which as I mentioned has been busy, has been effective. A 3.12 combined ERA. 4th best in baseball. It's the young right-hander, Mejia, trying to get Derek Jeter with 2,797 career hits. And he walks it. 2 on, nobody out. A DirecTV game break. Here's Chris. Guys, thanks. Now Dan Worthen, the pitching coach, is out to talk. More action for the Mets in their bullpen. Oliver Perez is on the right. He's a left-hander. And Fernando Nieve is the right-hander on your left. His pitches, the last 2 didn't miss by much, but here's a 20-year-old in this situation. He is handed a 3-run 7th inning lead, and he's allowed a base hit, a walk. And now, Tim, you get into Gardner, who's a 300 hitter, Teixeira, and Rodriguez. Good luck.
Yeah. Middle of the lineup. Teixeira, Rodriguez, Cano. Gardner with that great speed, tough to double. I think that's one of the reasons Worthen went out there to tell him about the situation. Get one out. Don't be consumed with the double play.
There's a strike. Gardner is hitless tonight. He's grounded back to the pitcher, struck out twice. That was against Pelfrey. Teixeira has been a hot hitter in May. He's on deck. Gardner's been good from the start. Here is an 0-1 pitch from Mejia. Right side. Davis will take just the one out. And the runners advance to second and third here in the seventh. It brings in Teixeira, and we'll see if it brings a pitching change or if they stick with young Henry out of the mound.
Well, you know, Joe, you can only protect a player so long. I mean, baptism by fire ultimately will come sooner or later. And in a sense, this is Mejia's baptism by fire.
Baptism by fire might get you fired.
Well, in the process, you put a guy in a situation. If you believe he can pitch, doesn't matter whether he's 20 or 30, get him out.
Strike one on Teixeira. You can see choked that baseball and took something off. Teixeira out in front. You're right. I mean, if he's here and he's on the roster, eventually it's going to be your turn, and this is an opportunity for Henry Mejia as he hits 95 on the radar gun to get two big outs against two of the most dangerous hitters in the American League. Tying run at the plate. Second and third, one out. The 0-2 pitch. 96, ball one. Now the 1-2. Skips in, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Calm look on the face of Jerry Manuel, but you know his stomach is turning right now.
I was thinking the same thing. Calm look, churning stomach.
Waiting for the 2-2 to Teixeira. Here it is. And it's up and in, full count. First base is open. Alex Rodriguez on deck. It was 0-2, now it's 3-2. And a foul will keep Teixeira up there. Last time the Phillies were no-hit, April 16th, 1978, by the Cardinals' right-hander Bob Forst. That's going on in Philadelphia. Now time called by Barajas, the catcher. Three balls, 2 strikes, second and third, 1 out. Tying run at the plate, Teixeira. He has 7 home runs. And a strikeout for Mejia as he gets Teixeira 2 out.
It's a big step by a young pitcher. As Teixeira swings at the first one, now he's in the hole 0-2. Splitter misses, splitter misses. Just inside, fouled off, gotcha.
First base is open because of the presence of Cano on deck. Here's Alex Rodriguez with a chance to tie it with 1 swing. Ball 1 down and in. That is true protection. You think about St. Louis, Pujols would take a walk here.
Yep.
But with Cano hitting behind Rodriguez and starting the night at .335, Rodriguez will be worked to by Henry Mejia. 589 career home runs for Alex Rodriguez. 6 this season. Inside again, 2-0, 96 on the radar gun. And now we'll see how much Mejia wants to come at Rodriguez now that he's behind 2-0. And Barajas is going to go talk to him about just that.
I think this is good strategy by Jerry Manuel right here, because Oliver Perez is set down and Pedro Feliciano is up. And Feliciano is in the bullpen primarily to get left-handed batters out. So if you do decide to walk him now, there's a place for him. And Dan Warthen checking on that right now.
So with Feliciano hurrying to get ready for Cano, I would imagine they're going to be careful with Rodriguez with a count 2-0.
Well, Mejia's probably never pitched around a hitter in his life.
And instead, it's a 97-mile-an-hour fastball for strike one.
Yeah, he's 20 years old. He really doesn't know what that means to pitch around the guy. He's been so overwhelming in the Dominican Republic, getting guys out. He's never had to pitch around anybody.
Tying run at the plate, 2 out here in the 7th. 2-1 pitch. 2-2. And Mejia's pumped up. Hit 97 on the radar gun to even the count. Russo at third, Jeter at second. That one got away, and it's a full count.
That looked like a breaking ball that slipped out of his hand.
Barry Manuel hasn't stopped moving down in that dugout.
Nope.
Here we go. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Second and third, 2 out. Left side, David Wright with a nice pickup to end the inning. And the young 20-year-old right-hander Henry Mejia pitches an eventful but scoreless 7th with Jerry Manuel applauding. He heads to the dugout, and it's still 4-1 Mets. Candle Park back to work. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Still 4-1 the Mets on top. As Henry Mejia got into and out of trouble. What a good pick by Rodriguez, and the throw safe as Teixeira came off the bag. What a play by Alex Rodriguez in that throw, but evidently Teixeira couldn't keep his foot on the base. 2
plays in a row by third baseman, one by David Wright, one by Alex Rodriguez. However, the throw by Rodriguez is high to Teixeira, the right foot coming off the bag, and Bay was safe. I think it's going to be an infield hit. 4 hits on the night for Jason Bay. Best night he's had as a Met.
And a good call by the first base umpire, Marvin Hudson.
Was.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that David Wright play, oh man, you cannot take for granted that play is easier going to be made on a short hop. It was kind of a do-or-die play, and David Wright did to win the inning.
And how about Henry Mejia, who had the wherewithal to get down after he delivered the pitch? Now, for a 20-year-old to have that type of presence is pretty special.
Ike Davis walked twice, scored a run, and struck out. Here's Mejia getting down.
He's special.
Runner goes, and Davis pops it up. That is Cano, who just made a great play. Jeter was on the bag, and Cano went over, looked at Rodriguez, looked around, and somehow caught that ball. Here's a DirecTV game break. Here's Chris. Guys, thank you. And so close in the 8th, but no-hitter. And here is David Wright. He's had a good night with a bat and a good night with the glove. Strike 1.
See, Robinson Cano came all the way from a second base position into the shortstop position with Jeter on at second base. And I guess he waved A-Rod off that ball or caught it by default.
Wright takes the ball low. 1 ball, 1 strike from Candle Park. To appreciate how good that play was, you had to see the entire route he took to the ball.
Yeah, that's right.
Wright with 2 hits, 2 RBIs, a strikeout. Where he starts.
Jeter's covering the bag because Bay was running. And Cano alertly making the play, knowing Jeter's covering the base.
Here's a 1-1. Instead, a check on Bay, who was running with Ike Davis at the plate. For Jason Bay, his first 4-hit game since last June with the Red Sox against Washington. Off the end of the bat, easy into right for Swisher. 2 out. Back to the bag is Bay. And Angel Pagan will be the hitter. In the 8th inning, the Yankees will have Cano, Swisher, Cervelli, and then the pitcher spot. Feliciano getting ready for the 8th. With the lefty Cano to start it, and then the switch hitter Swisher. Another check on Jason Bay.
Angel Pagan is the one Met who has befriended Henry Mejia. They are very, very close. Mejia looks up to the older Pagan. And you can imagine being 20 years old, coming to New York City and starting your career right out of spring training.
There's a strike on the inside corner, ball and a strike. He had to get through Teixeira and Alex Rodriguez to keep it a 3-run lead. And he did just that. He struck out Teixeira. And Rodriguez grounded out that good pickup by David Wright at third. Given a lot of scores tonight. We're on a Saturday night on that Fox game of the week. So why not a Little League score? The Montville U9 team won 8-2. Big game over in Jersey tonight. Here's a pitch low as Jason Bay steals second uncontested.
Hear it from Montville. All right.
And for Bay, it's his 6th steal. He hasn't been caught this season. Pagan looking for his 3rd hit. He tried to check his swing. He did. It's 3-1.
It appeared that Pagan went around and went too far. That was close.
So the count's 3-1. Runner at second, 2 out. Mets leading by 3 in the 7th in Chan-Ho Park. Gets a ground ball, base hit off the bat of Angel Pagan into left, into score Jason Bay. And it's the biggest lead of the night for the Mets. It's 5-1 here in the 7th. A 3-hit night for Angel Pagan. And Jason Bay's had a big evening. 4 hits, a double included in there. He's stolen a base and now scored 3 runs.
Jerry Manuel telling us and confirming before the game that Angel Pagan is the best athlete on the Mets, and that is really saying something when you consider Jose Reyes plays shortstop. But he has really put it together in the early going here. Guy who signed originally with the Mets, went to Chicago, and then came back to the Mets for cash considerations. Has done a bang-up job the last 2.5 years.
Here is Barajas. There's another point to that story that Ken Rosenthal brought up with Jerry Manuel, and he's Ken, you're with us. Trying to get him wired up down by the dugout, but Ken brought it up, and I thought it was a good question. You know, Carlos Beltran is working his way back, is getting back into baseball-related activities. What does Pagan do? What does Gardner do with a diving catch? As he ends the inning, Gardner charging hard, made the diving grab. And that ends the 7th. Mets lead it by 4. Mets lead, and Pedro Feliciano swings home a pitch, and Robinson Cano gets a base hit into left center field, and we're underway in the 8th. Cano is 2 for his last 2 for 4 on the night. And Feliciano takes over for Henry Mejia, who won an inning, no runs, 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. There are the numbers for Feliciano as Nick Swisher digs in.
Yeah, you have to really go inside the numbers with Feliciano. Left-handed batters with that hit, only 6 for 36 on the year. Feliciano, one of the toughest left-handers in baseball on left-handed hitters.
Boone Logan, the left-hander, gets loose for the Yankees. Yankees trying to tighten this one here in the 8th. It's 5-1 Mets, their biggest lead of the night. First pitch, a strike to Nick Swisher. Here's the 0-1. There's strike 2.
That's an odd move. A hitter scratching his back with the barrel of the bat.
Nick will march to the beat of his own drum for the rest of his life.
That's right.
Oh, 2 pitch is down and in. Mets at 3 games under 500. Trying to win here tonight and then take their chances tomorrow night against Sabathia behind Santana. One ball, 2 strikes on Swisher. 2 hits on the night for Nick, and this one hit him on the left arm to put 2 on. Swisher wasn't headed down to first, and now Barajas and Feliciano are arguing with the home plate umpire that didn't hit Swisher.
That looked like a breaking ball. It started way outside and swirled in. It didn't hit him. It didn't hit his arm. It may have hit part of the uniform.
Yep,
it did.
And the uniform is part of the body. You're hit by the pitch.
That's right.
So the home plate umpire, Todd Tishner, got it right. And just like that, the Yankees have 2 on with nobody out, and Francisco Cervelli coming up and Dan Worthen coming out to talk. Next Sunday, NASCAR on Fox moves to Charlotte. Coca-Cola 600 from Charlotte Motor Speedway beginning next Sunday at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific in high def here on Fox. For more information, go to foxsports.com. Now Nieve gets loose again. He was up last inning. Mets just trying to hang on and win this ball game after losing last night. They're back in a rut and lost 8 of 10 coming in. They're trying to beat the Yankees. They've lost 7 of their last 8 at home during interleague play. And here is Cervelli, who's been very good this season, hitting .444 with runners on. Even better as you look at the Yankees with runners in scoring position tonight. On the year, hitting better than .550. Is Cervelli with a man in scoring position, and that's ball 1 from Feliciano.
I think one of the reasons that the Mets are leaving Feliciano in the game right now is with the pinch hitter on deck, Marcus Thames. Regardless of what happens to Cervelli, and I think Jerry Manuel will take his time in making the move. And when Thames is announced, bring Nieve in the game, and then Joe Girardi talking to Kevin Long, you got to be thinking that Juan Miranda will probably be the pinch hitter for Marcus Thames, I would think.
Here is a 1-1. Line drive, base hit into right. They will hold Cano at third, and the bases are loaded. Another hit for Cervelli. He has been incredible. And now the bases are loaded. The tying run will come to the plate. And Marcus Thames will be the man. And on Monday night, he was the man with a game-winning home run. A-Rod had tied it with a shot off Papelbon. And Thames hit a 2-out, 2-run walk-off home run. Their first walk-off hit this season for the Yankees, who led baseball with 15 of them last year. And with Thames announced, Feliciano has loaded the bases with nobody out. And Nieve is coming in. Yankees threatening here in the 8th, down by 4. Who was announced, and Miranda will take on the right-hander Fernando Nieve. Bases loaded, nobody out. Tying run at the plate for the Yankees. Feliciano didn't retire anybody, allowed 2 hits, hit about her. And here is Miranda, who's got some power. Strike 1 on the outside corner. Miranda 36 home runs over the last 2+ years at AAA Scranton. Miranda fooled on the pitch. Nieve took something off, and it's strike 2.
Yeah, that looked like a splitter that dived down out of the strike zone. You could see that grip. And a good splitter right there. One problem with that pitch, Nieve ended the game with a wild pitch in Florida, a series in which the Mets lost all 4 games.
On a road trip where they lost a game on a wild pitch and lost a game in Atlanta on a wild throw by David Wright.
Right.
A 2-6 road trip. Lost last night to the Yankees. Here's one in the dirt. Ball 1. Blocked by Barajas. There the runners on. Lead runner is Cano. Swisher at second. Cervelli at first. Juan Miranda. The 1-2. And a strikeout for Nieve. Well away.
Can't stress enough how the fastball appears to be so much faster after pitches like this and a pitch like that. Now the high fastball gets him. That last pitch, you can see those two fingers together, and he just blows Miranda away. Impressive.
And now Kevin Russo, who was the hitting star last night for the Yankees, couple of hits, 2 RBIs on a double, has a hit in this game, and he takes a strike. He didn't like the call. It's 0-1. Kevin Russo singled in the 7th, took over in the double switch. And the Yankees took out Phil Hughes. There's strike 2 over the inside corner from Nieva.
Kevin Russo from West Babylon, Long Island. Had his brother and his niece at the game last night, and they saw him get his first hit, and obviously his first game-winning hit.
Down to 0-2. Backing out of play. Second time up this season for Kevin Russo. More of a middle infield type. He has played the outfield the last couple of nights. Bases loaded, 1 out, nothing in 2 to count. After Russo, it's Jeter. Ball 1. Feliciano out a hit by Cano, hit Swisher, Cervelli a base hit to right. Nieva took over, struck out Miranda. Here's a 1-2 to Kevin Russo. Ball 2. Now the 2-2 pitch. Russo took it low, a full count. From 0-2 to 3-2. Here it is from Nieva, and it's inside to walk home a run. Cano forgot the count, and that was ball 4. He comes home, and that's going to be it for Nieva.
We've seen a lot of gritty at-bats tonight, and that was certainly one of the grittiest.
Francisco Rodriguez is coming into this game in the 8th in a double switch. It's 5-2. and brings Francisco Rodriguez, the closer, into the game with a bases loaded, 1 out, and Derek Jeter coming up. Rodriguez has 1 5-out save this season. And the Mets asking for another. The tying run is on at first. There's 1 out, and Jeter is up. Jeter takes a strike. How do you like this move of Francisco Rodriguez in the game here in the 8th?
Oh, I think it's imperative that Jerry Manuel make this move. Rodriguez did not pitch last night. You know, you've got to do that because you've got to have this game.
Here's the 0-1. Jeter checked it, a ball and a strike. So Pagan is out of the game. That's where the pitcher will hit for the Mets in the number 6 spot. Second year with the Mets for Francisco Rodriguez. Dealing with Jeter. And a fly ball into right. Into the corner. Francoeur runs out of room as it's out of play. Strike 2. Final year with the Angels for Rodriguez in 08. An ERA of 2.24, 76 games, and 62 saves.
But Joe, just looking at the outfield alignment, there's too big a gap from here to center field. I think Jason Bay should be about 8 steps to his left and give Jeter all of the left field line for which to hit. Matthews moving more into right center now, so the gap's bigger.
Here's the 1-2. Over the low, 2-2. With that big gap out there, if Jeter finds it, this will be a tie game.
I tell you, he's more apt, I'd say about 5 times more apt to find that gap, the one from Bay to Matthews, than he is the gap down the left field line. When you're dealing with percentages here, I think that's where your percentages are that he'll hit the ball.
Here's a 2-2. Left side, right to second for the out, and that's it. A run scores. It's 5-3. Wright had a little trouble getting it out of his glove. And with that, no chance to turn 2.
I'm not too sure that ball was hit hard enough for Wright to turn 2 anyway, because Jeter had such a good jump out of the box. Usually if you're a right-handed batter and that ball's away from you, you're heading toward first when you hit the ball.
Francisco Rodriguez thought he might have had the end of the inning.
Yeah.
Now it's first and third, 2 out. An RBI for Jeter. It's a 5-3 game. Batter is Brett Gardner. Hitless on the night. The Mets will keep an eye on Jeter at first, who's stolen 4, been caught once.
Pitching coaches don't mind pitchers keeping an eye on them, but they don't want them to do it that way. I'm going to get a guy as savvy a base runner as Derek Jeter with a move like that.
That's a little up. Ball 1 to Gardner. Runner at third is Cervelli. Runner at first is Jeter. 2 runs in the inning are charged to Feliciano, and he is still on the hook for Cervelli, who is the runner at third base. 1 ball, no strikes. First and third, 2 out. And a good pitch from Rodriguez, strike 1.
Good breaking ball to even the count to Gardner.
One ball, 1 strike, first and third, 2 out. Gardner with a good rip, strike 2. Left side, it comes up on right, gathers it and throws, and the inning is over. Good job by Francisco Rodriguez to limit the damage. Mets lead by 2 into the bottom of the 8th. DirecTV, as they provide us with aerial coverage tonight. The only way to watch every MLB game in HD. Call 1-800-DirecTV. We're into the bottom of the 8th inning. It's a 5-3 game now. Sergio Mitre takes over on the mound for the Yankees.
Sergio, his 8th appearance of the year. He started a couple of games for New York.
And he misses outside with ball 1. Chan-Ho Park went an inning and a third. Allowed a run on 3 hits. No walks or strikeouts. And now it's Mitre. Francoeur pops it up right side. Cano, Teixeira, and Teixeira makes the catch over his shoulder for the first out. Go ahead and say it.
He can pick it. Man.
I mean, for the threat he is as a switch hitter with a bat, power, average, run production, he is so good at first base. And now catches one over his shoulder in foul ground. Here's Gary Matthews Jr., who is 1 for 21 over his last 14 games here and is hitting 185 overall. Batting with one out, nobody on. He took over in the double switch in the top of this eighth. With one out, Mitre misses low. In the ninth inning, the Yankees will have the heart of their lineup: Teixeira, Rodriguez, and Cano. Francisco Rodriguez will be back out there. For the Yankees, it's important for Mitre to keep this a two-run game with those bats coming up. That's out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. A 1-1 pitch from Sergio Mitre to Gary Matthews Jr. Strike 2. With one out, Mitre brings it, and it's inside. Ball 2, 2-2. Over the last 2 years, this is a Mets club that is 40-61 in games decided by 2 runs or less, which is the worst mark in Major League Baseball. It's a 2-run game right now. There's a final as Tampa Bay defeated Houston tonight 4-2. Matthews strikes out. 2 out here in the eighth. Jason Bay has had a big night tonight. He has 4 hits. He may get 5 hits tonight. We couldn't guarantee it. But did you know that Valvoline can guarantee your engine up to 300,000 miles? Bay has never had a 5-hit game. May not get a chance to even go after it. Valvoline is the first and only motor oil in the industry to guarantee your engine up to 300,000 miles. Tailing pitch is inside, a little low to Jose Reyes. Reyes a base hit his last time up. With a line drive into right. Now he hits a line drive into right center. Reyes is going to try and take second, and he's out by 20. He tried to run on Gardner. Gardner just popped up and threw a strike to second, and the inning is over.
Yeah, why try to stretch that into a double? He can steal the base anyway.
That sends us to the ninth. Mets lead at 5-3. First pitch of the ninth inning is a breaking ball in for a strike to Teixeira. It's Teixeira, Rodriguez, and Cano. 3 big bats for the Yankees, down by 2. Shift is on in the infield. Left side of the infield is almost empty. You've got David Wright like a shortstop playing up the middle. Yankees need a base runner to have a chance here. Counts 0-2. Teixeira 0 for 3, struck out in a key at bat in the 7th. Gets a piece. That was against the rookie Henry Mejia. Mejia did a very good job of getting into and out of trouble. A reminder that coming up next, late local news, except on the West Coast. Francisco Rodriguez brings home an 0-2 and strikes out Teixeira one away. 3rd consecutive strikeout for Teixeira in this game.
K-Rod gets his former teammate. They were teammates with the Angels a couple of years ago, the last 2 months of the season. Getting Teixeira a key out here in the 9th inning.
Now Alex Rodriguez. As Rodriguez, Francisco Rodriguez, looks for his 7th save. Trying to save it from Mike Pelfrey, who was so good. Would go to 6-1 with a win. Phil Hughes would suffer his first loss of the season if it stays as is. Ball 1.
K-Rod, the A-Rod, the Rod Barajas.
It's all right there in front of us.
Yep.
Rodriguez came on with the bases loaded last inning. Allowed 1 inherited runner to score. That was it. Rodriguez checked his swing. It's 2-0. On deck is Cano, who's hit 9 home runs. A total that leads this Yankees team. At the plate now is a guy with 589 career home runs. Here's a 2-0. 2-1. Alex Rodriguez, a hit in the 1st. He struck out in the 4th and the 6th, grounded out to end a threat in the 7th. Here's a 2-1 from Francisco Rodriguez. 90-mile-an-hour fastball, strike 2.
2-run lead, a lot different from a 1-run lead in the 9th inning. He challenged Rodriguez. If you had a 1-run lead, you'd be less inclined to do so.
Here's a 2-2. Hard hit, base hit, past David Wright into left. Second hit of the evening for Rodriguez. It's 1 on, 1 out. And now the tying run will come to the plate for the Yankees.
After 2 fastballs, a high curveball driven past right.
Ball was scorched. Woo. Here is Robinson Cano. 2 hits tonight, 2 runs scored, 9 home runs on the season. And he started the evening hitting .335, 5th best average in the league. He is the tying run at the plate, and that is a strike from Rodriguez. You don't see, or at least we haven't seen, Francisco Rodriguez really light up the radar gun.
No.
Like he used to.
Broke in during the 2002 World Series. Angels against the Giants, won by the Angels.
Here's the 0-1. Little squirter out in front of the plate. Francisco Rodriguez gets the out at first. And now Nick Swisher will walk to the plate.
It's funny about Rodriguez. He falls over so much to the first base side that on balls hit back to the middle, he has a tough time recovering. He recovered then.
Congratulations to Jose, Pardeep, and Mehdi. Winners of today's MLB on Fox Tune In to win. Visit foxsports.com/tunein to see your results. If you missed this week's game, make sure to play next week. Yankees down to their final out, but they have Nick Swisher at the plate. With 7 home runs, he's been on base 3 times tonight. Strike 1.
Here's one of those situations where you cannot let Nick Swisher tie the game on a fastball. He is a good fastball hitter. And if he's going to beat you or tie a game, you've got to make him hit the off-speed step.
Really what Rodriguez has featured since he came in last inning as that one skips in and check swing. The count evens at 1. This is a Mets team that's looking for some reason to feel good about things. Desperately needing Jose Reyes to get hot. David Wright to put the ball in play more as he did tonight. Reyes with 2 hits tonight. Bay with 4 hits. They got a very good start from Mike Pelfrey. Now they ask their closer to get the final out. 1-1 pitch. Base hit into right. Rodriguez will hold at third, and it's first and third, 2 out. Now the tying runs are on.
I think that puts Nick Swisher over the 300 mark. He's 3 for 4 tonight. He's been on base 4 straight times. Great plate coverage, and he credits his improved hitting to Kevin Long, the hitting instructor for the Yankees. Keeping his head still. It's been still tonight.
And now Cervelli has not homered this season, but he is 7 for 10 this year with 2 out and a runner in scoring position. He has that here. We're in the 9th, first and third, 2 out, tying run at first. Cervelli has proven to be a tough out. 2 hits tonight and an RBI. Ball 1. Ramiro Pena has come into the on-deck circle. He would hit from Mitre. Right now it's Cervelli. And a 1-0 from Rodriguez. On the outside corner, a ball and a strike. Here's the 1-1. That's high. 2 balls and a strike. Rare fastball from Francisco Rodriguez at 90. Cervelli looking for his 3rd hit of the night. Here comes a 2-1. 2-2, and the Yankees are down to their final strike.
Good cut fastball from K-Rod.
Win it 5-3. And this Subway Series is even at a game apiece.
Joe, the Yankees have been so good with runners in scoring position all year, but they stranded 13 base runners tonight. That's the most in a 9-inning game for the Yankees this year.
Pelfrey very good as the starter for the Mets. The bullpen had just enough. And the game ended with this pitch, with 2 runners on here in the 9th inning. And a mild reaction from Jerry Manuel, who has been through a long week. Everybody pointing toward this series and its importance. The Phillies are next in town at the beginning of the week. And there's a smile from Jerry Manuel as his Mets team beats the Yankees 5-3. 3-hour, 33-minute game, and the Lexus hybrid game-changing player, Mike Pelfrey. It was either Pelfrey or Jason Bay who had 4 hits. David Wright had a couple of RBIs, but Pelfrey is the starter, 6 innings, 1 run, 6 hits. Struck out 5, walked 2, as the Mets try and put something together, and they get the win here tonight, 5-3. We will step aside. The studio will be along with you on the other side of the break. For Tim McCarver and Ken Rosenthal and Joe Buck, so long from New York. Chris and Kevin in the Fox Sports studio after the